I tell you what, as I was walking home just now, are you recording?
Yes.
Because I'm not going to say this again. Okay, as I was walking home from dropping off my child, after explaining to him the storyline of Babylon 5 and why space fascism is bad, as I was walking down the street, I saw my cat, who is pure white, like jogging up the road towards me. I was like, there's Luna. Hello, Luna. And we were, and she she stopped at me. She followed. So I walked past her and she followed me. And I was walking on. These two cats were having this absolute, like, they were scrapping. They were having a right Barney. And they stopped. They both were like, when they saw me. And Luna, my cat, just like strolled along, looked at them, and then just looked at me, and then just carried on walking. Just like, I ain't got time to deal with that shit. Which is so my cat. She's literally like the godfather of cats for some reason.
I remember cat adjacent story when we stayed in Spain one time, and I woke up one of the mornings thinking someone was being murdered, but no, it was cats fighting outside my window. Just imagine like waking up.
Yeah,
I absolutely shat a brick. And I was like, oh.
They make some weird noises when they fight.
They sound
you
like
want to
someone
hear?
being killed.
You want to know weird noises? You guys ever heard like deer in the middle of the night? They sound like fucking ghosts or banshees or something. They're the most awful sound. I remember I used to live in a place that had so much moose. It was crazy amount of moose. Like if I had 10 minutes to go to school, and I would like see one moose. And I would bicycle like to a different school when I was younger, and I would be chased by moose like it would happen like a couple of times a year.
Aren't they like,
yeah,
the size of a house?
Yeah, this is like something that you can see survive the fucking ice age, right? They're one of two only animals that like survive the ice age megafauna. And we had a bunch of apple trees. So sometimes they would just go and like eat the fallen fruit and get drunk. And then you would just have like this, 1-ton animal screaming because it can't get up anymore because it's too drunk.
God,
so you would just hear like, you would just go like for 2 a.m, you just hear like just outside your window, and you'd be like, not again, I have school tomorrow.
Jesus Christ, that's traumatic.
Yeah, and then you just wake up the entire neighborhood, but then you would hear like a gunshot, and then like, you had food for the winter.
Can you eat moose?
Yeah, moose is delicious. It's like literally one of the best types of meats ever. I was like raised on moose and salmon. Like according to Joe Rogan, I'm a fucking superhuman.
Literally, it's a different world, isn't it?
Bear.
Bear isn't that good though, is it? I've only had it like once or twice. I think it's like, isn't it like pretty like...
Me and Dan, we live in the UK where the largest animal that you find is probably a badger, because we've hunted the rest of that shit to extinction. No, not unless you want like rabies. Yeah. Yeah,
moose is absolutely fucking delicious, though. It is the best. I know. I'm like, when I see a moose, I'm like, that's delicious. You call that monster animal.
Is it like really? Wow. I feel like it'd be just like really, like muscly and tough.
No, it depends on how you cook it. It's just like a really good juicy steak, basically. If you cook it well, it's just really good. But then again, I was raised on moose. Like this is like, oh, do you like like whatever weird pudding? And it's like, yeah, I ate that all the time when I was a kid, but I don't know.
Yeah, next time me and Monsters come over to Sweden, you'll have to make us up a big bowl of moose. Do a live taste of you.
Moose stew. That's what I'm talking about.
Then we'll have some moose. Am I right?
Hey.
We would have also like in school stuff like that. We would have like reindeer stew and stuff like that.
Not Rudolph.
Oh, yeah, it's also delicious.
How's Santa going to deliver his presents now that you've eaten Rudolph, you monster?
Well, we didn't eat the special ones, obviously.
I remember
it's just the ones who don't like. Oh, can you pull this sled? And they're like, no, and it's like, well. So you have like reindeer stew, mashed potatoes, and lingonberry jam.
That sounds pretty good, actually. Good. I remember I got some venison burgers once, and like I think I'd mentioned it to my girlfriend, but I clearly didn't do a good enough job because she was eating it. And she's like, "Oh, the meat's really flavorful." I was like, "Yeah, it's deer," and she was like, "What? It's Bambi." Oh, Bambi's mum, I suppose. So she wasn't too pleased about him. Anywho,
We actually got some deer in the garden outside. So.
oh dear.
Are they
Speaking
dear
of
to you?
oh dear, welcome to the Old Grumblers podcast. Today we're going to be talking about really positive things, such as all the problems with Total War Warhammer 3, because there's no better time than when the DLC's delayed, the reviews are almost at an all-time low, and there's really nothing else to talk about, so we may as well.
I mean, like it's what the people want. Otherwise, the subreddits would be, have anything else on them right now.
Yeah.
We basically thought. So this is actually an idea we've had for a while, where we want to do like a tier list of weird design choices and bugs and stuff like that. But it just wasn't a good time for it ever. So now we just said like, yeah, let's do it now. We did like a little ideas thread on our Discord, and it's just quickly became like a lot of ideas, and we were like, oh wow, actually there's a lot of problems in the game. I can kind of understand this.
If we skim through a few, just know it's because we have quite a lot. So we'll probably like save the discussion for the ones that are like really big. But yeah, we didn't really want to do it because, despite it's being called Old Grumblers, we kind of don't want to just complain all the time because it's a bit depressing. But well,
for yourself. I love complaining.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I steer you guys out of that quite.
I also do love complaining, but we didn't want to be too overly negative. So just this once, kick them while they're down. We might as well.
Farm the drama.
Yes.
I think it's also good to understand both sides in this one, because me at first was like, I don't actually care about like these things not being able to recruit. Like personally, I play this game like basically for a living, and like just stream it like hours upon hours. And I actually don't care that much if I have like a couple of fewer factions. But then we started writing the list of things that were like buggy and things, and then it kind of became like, all right, yeah, I kind of understand that. Became like the thing that's broke the camel's back, so to say.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's because we all play the game so much that we become inured to it. Like we accept the fact that there's all these problems. We know they exist, and we've kind of gone past the however many stages of grief to acceptance, or whether it just, I don't know, it doesn't affect us. Because I will admit, the AI thing, I don't know, I didn't really notice it, to be honest, until someone pointed it out.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say from the get-go, so it's on record, there is no big company that has bug-free games. Like I used to play a lot of Skyrim. It's like the community bug fixes something like 6,000, 7,000 bugs fixed. That those games break constantly. I won't play like a Bethesda game on consoles because then I don't get the console commands, because I know that some quest will bug out at some point and just break.
Well, you want FOV to be limited at like 65?
Yeah, that as well. That is crazy that as you release games nowadays as well, like without a field of view slider, and like Paradox games, they like every single big game that you can think of has like a lot of problems, especially when you are so like play them so much as well as we do.
I also think that people saying, it's because you download games and they can patch them instantly now, and that's why there's bugs. That's not true. Games used to have bugs all the time. And if they had a bug before the internet, if a game had a bug, it just didn't get fixed unless you were lucky enough to get a demo disc on the front of a magazine which happened to have the patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not to get too off topic, but I think like initially it was like, we'll release it as polished as we can, whatever's broken, whoops. And then it became, oh, well, like we can release it as polished as we can, then we can fix whatever isn't there. So that's good. And now it's just kind of become, oh, we'll release whatever and then we'll just fix it eventually, like, these cyberpunks. But, like not to just, jerk off CA too hard, too early. But like given what is in the game, there's essentially 3 games sellotaped together with hopes and prayers. It's honestly astonishing that it even works.
Yeah.
So like these bugs, whilst they may be annoying and some of them may even like break campaigns, it's just kind of us complaining. Let's be honest. Let's say it for what it is. I know, Louis. It's just us complaining. We just can't help ourselves.
Yeah. I'm also gonna say, now that Bloodlines 2 is almost coming out, the first Vampire the Masquerade Redemption is something I played on release, and when it was released, It's the first boss had something like 10 times the amount of health as a bug, and you just couldn't win versus that. Like I remember, I spent like a full day as a teenager just like trying to cheese this thing before I managed to get through it. But it was after a month, you know, the demo disc on PC Gamer had like the patch on it. It was like, you know, too much to download on a modem, which was like, you know, 20 or 19 megabytes or something.
Yeah, and then good luck if you decided to play that game and forgot where the demo disc was with the patch, because then, well, got to cheese that boss again, I guess.
And then you played Pillars of Eternity and you're like, oh, so it's like one of those bugs, and then they're like, no. No, it's just bad balance. It's a choice. Right.
So shall we get into the tier? Is it a tier list, or are we just listing problems and complaining about them?
Tier list, because then we can put tier list in the title and get 12 billion
Perfect.
views.
Nice big red arrow.
Yeah, I'm going to do one of those. Hang on one.
Excellent. In fact, that's what we need.
Okay, so now there are still some problems with recruitments. Like it broke. What did it break instead now?
Naturally. Yeah, when they said there's a patch coming out, I was just like, I bet my entire life savings that this patch just breaks something else. And lo and behold. What?
Yeah, I mean, from what I've read on Reddit, I'm not like, some people go, it's fixed, and other people go, yeah, well, you haven't played past turn 30 where it's not fixed. So I don't actually know if it is fixed or not, or what else is broken. Thing is, I play games so heavily modded that I can't tell if things are an actual bug or whether it's something to do with mod conflicts these days.
The Crustacean Nation, some of the spells don't work. I'm going to put that in the tier list. Well, they work, but they just don't have any animation. Right.
Still though, I'm fairly sure that things like Beastmen, for example, don't really recruit that much anymore.
There has been that discussion on Reddit, along with the Changeling and Golgfag. And to be honest, I'm very much in the case that I don't know if I want those factions working.
As soon as I find the Changeling, I fucking hunt that bitch down because it's just irritating.
So here's the deal. Well, not the deal, but was I think like Skaven only getting like mainly Skaven slaves and stuff like that, and clan rats is great. Like they can pose a threat when they have like 7 armies coming at you anyway. Yeah. But the rest of them get pretty not fun at all. Like Chaos Dwarfs are such a non-issue. It's crazy.
So shall we just lump this all in as recruitment bug? Because no matter who it's affecting at the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't feel like it's super high up there, because depending where you are playing, like if you're playing a campaign that isn't near, say, the Lizardmen when they weren't working, I'm not going to lie, Pims, I didn't even realize the game was bugged because I haven't been fighting the Lizardmen recently.
Okay. Let's actually lump this up even more to campaign AI bugs for factions. So like for example, like you know how all the factions just like lump a bunch of armies around their capital and then they just become passive. Yeah. Let's just lump that in as well, like AI bugs.
That's fair. Yeah,
I think that's pretty high. I think if you lump all of that stuff in together, like factions not being able to recruit, the clumping thing, factions that are like basically dead, like the Changeling. I think if you lump all of that together, it's quite a high.
Yeah, you do end up with
I would probably say S tier.
Already? I mean, I suppose.
Yeah, no, we can start off big because like the small ones. The small ones, I think, are like whatever. But when you lump all of them together, like Vlad and Vampire Cancers having like tons of armies around their capitals, just being passive, and a lot of them just not doing anything. Like Shorfs not recruiting their special units. But like Beastmen, for example, not being like an actual issue at all, not existing. I guess you can probably put in like Nakai there probably as well. I haven't played it like this hotfix though.
Oh, I'm sure the Nakai, they always do.
I think it comes down to the fact that like isolated, some of those issues aren't that noticeable. Things like factions not recruiting, you might come across a Lizardman faction and roll over them and be like, oh, that's weird. They didn't have much stuff, but maybe they were fighting a war or something and lost all their armies, and I just happened to turn up at the right time. So you might not notice that, but enough times you might go, hang on a sec, that doesn't make much sense that the lizard men have been a non-entity on this map for the last 5 campaigns I've played. And also the clumping thing is something that is very noticeable. Like if you come across a faction and they're holding a convention for 10 turns around their capital, that is very noticeable that they're not doing anything.
It just makes it a pain in the ass for anything. Like you can attack them, but like there's 6 armies around 1 capital, what are you going to do? Just makes them
you can break them up.
With.
Yeah, you can break them up, but if you're like allied with a faction and you're desperately fighting for your life and your ally's just like having a flipping meeting for 20 turns at his capital, you're kind of like, this would be nice if you could maybe help out here, buddy. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think S is fine once you lump everything together, because it is like you notice something like that in every campaign, and whilst it may not always be like a real bother, a lot of the time it's just like it really just takes you out of it, and like takes you out of like, oh well, these are all factions playing their own campaigns and achieving their own goals, when a lot of them are just like, I've not interacted with the play yet, so I will wait. I'm at war.
Yeah, and the fact that the AI is very passive towards each other, like it only really kind of wakes up when you turn up.
We will come back to anti-play bias in its own separate entry, because
fair enough. We'll harvest that one out. It's still S tier though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that is entirely fair.
Okay. Do we want another S tier one, or do we want just a little bit more?
You pick from the list, Fred. Then it's less confusing because you know what you'll have done, so you can present them. So what do you think?
In that case, I should have prepared a little bit better. But if preparation was our something we did, then we would probably have a more successful podcast, I guess.
Probably. We probably have a sponsor to go right here, but we don't.
Oh yeah. Also, with AI, we can also talk about like Nurgle not being able to handle cycle systems. Beastmen don't actually recruit at all. Changeling Maneater, as we said. Malachi becomes incredibly passive. Dark Elves also just like as per usual just become like strength rank 1, but not actually having the armies.
Oh, because they've only got black arcs.
Yeah. Warriors of Chaos can't actually upgrade like war bands. Don't use that at all. Kind of similar situation as with Chores, that they can't handle. They don't get like elite units. Vampire cans don't actually recruit. They just use like race dead.
So basically, any AI faction with a different recruitment is just completely stuffed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did I say also Nurgle can handle the cycle systems?
Yeah, you mentioned that.
It did.
Yeah,
I mean, neither can I, to be fair, but.
Well, I don't know, because I have seen a Kugath army with a buttload of quite elite units, so I don't know whether that was like a mod I was playing or something, but I did look at it and I went, I'm fairly sure at turn 40 you shouldn't have 3 plague drones, because those things take flipping ages to recruit and you wouldn't have the building for it anyway. And so I don't know whether they've like changed that or whether that was a mod I was using. But I have noticed Nurgle seems to be okay, but he's just one of those factions which, a lot of the factions that do kind of expand really hard do tend to be ones that have the normal recruitment rather than anything sort of a bit zany.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We'll do one that I don't think is like a big issue. Low resolution textures. It was the entire thing where one of the modders said that he could fix this for free, and he has like a mod, but CA said no. And I personally asked CA as well, like, hey, why is this? But I didn't get a response because like PR channels and stuff.
I mean,
yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Is, I mean, sometimes it sticks out. Most of the time, I don't give a shit,
Yeah.
How many times you looking super close at textures in Total War?
Yeah, I try to do that every once in a while, but it's because when you're streaming, you want it to look cool, and then it looks like that doesn't look that good.
And you're purely playing for like gameplay. Would you zoom in to have a look? Maybe like every now and then.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, cool. Like probably every now and again. Otherwise, we're just gonna make more hypotheticals. What if you did that, but you only had one eye?
Oh.
What if you did that, but you were outside?
But I I, as a YouTube channel, my sort of like, I wouldn't say my USP, it probably is my USP, is the fact that I fight the battles and then record the replays so that I can enjoy all the visuals, because then I don't have to worry about, sending units to go and fight and stuff. I can just be like, hey, look at this, isn't this fun? And to be honest, I get a lot of comments where like, why does your game look so good? And the answer is because I have the time to like actually enjoy the battles rather than fighting them from, so everyone looks like a dot on the battlefield. And I actually think the visuals are fine, and this might be one of those things where I just don't have any taste. Like the number of times my wife will say, "Why did you enjoy that food? It was awful," and I was like, "It was fine. I was okay with it."
Oh, dude,
That's right. Okay, and I feel like I'm winning in that case, because if I look at something or hear something or taste something and I go, "Yeah, that was nice," then I feel like I'm doing better in life than someone that looks at it and goes, "No, I can see every imperfection on it," because I just can't.
What resolution do you play at?
1440, 144.
1440p, dear.
That's the one. Yeah, look, I'm old. Yes, that one.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Where are these low-res textures? I never notice them because I just mostly play zoomed out. Because I don't like unless
they're kind of noticeable on some stuff, but not they're just scattered around basically.
I did see the Reddit post, and I did see like the two pictures side by side, and look, I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. I'm not being like, there is no issue. I could not tell the difference between those two pictures. All right. I looked at them, they were like, this is the same picture. And I'm sure there is a difference. I'm sure there is. I just can't see it because I'm probably old and I definitely need new glasses. I get that. But for me personally, I just can't. I'm like, I mean, I guess it's a shame if CA don't want to implement that, but to be honest, I don't know how much work it would be. I don't know any of the things. So I feel like it's like, eh. Yes. So I would go very low tier for this one.
I wouldn't say it's completely like a pointless complaint because, ideally, it's like Pokemon. Ideally, I would want them to look really good, the Pokemon games, because they don't. But I'd rather the gameplay be good, and rather have some voice acting first before we start worrying about that sort of thing. So maybe like, I don't think we should go like, all the way like D, E, F. So like, we're going to have like S, A, B, C, F. So I'm going to go C because if we have too many, it's just too much.
That sounds fine to me. To be honest, I think Total War is genuinely an impressive feat in that you can have 6,000 guys moving around on a battlefield at the same time. That's impressive.
Am I right?
I think, I think D tier, yes, because it is very, very low issue. It's the only reason why it's not F is because, I mean, like, why don't they just fix that? Like, why wouldn't they just ask that, like, say yes, that dude contributing to the game? Then he just like, I don't know, pay him a little bit to fix it as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they were to come out and go, look, we could do that, but everything would be on fire and you'd kill us all, I'd be like, okay, well, that's fair enough. I can totally understand why. But just to say no.
The thing that I can't remember which one you said it, but like each army color is saved as its own texture.
I believe that's yeah. So basically, I think that's correct. That's at least that was true in Warhammer 1. I'm not sure if it's true in Warhammer 2 and 3, but the fact they don't have an army painter is, I mean, it's kind of fucking obvious. But yeah, each like unit is saved as its own texture. So a blue texture and a red texture are different textures, from what I remember.
That seems like
citation needed.
Use of data.
It does sound like something Total War would do, though, doesn't it?
Yes, very much. So, D. Low-res textures, D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Lock that in.
Locked in. Frederick?
Well, we do have a couple of siege bugs, like we can just put it into, I don't know where we should actually lump this one together because it's going to be like gate bug together with like siege replay bug and stuff like that.
S tier.
Yeah, so.
You would say.
But for example, sieges. Sieges is a completely like, it's almost like, I think we have to rename this episode to problems with Total War Warhammer 3 instead of like bugs.
Yeah.
Because there are some like scathing problems with it. Like
The AI
Sieges
does not
are
know what to do
just
with
not
sieges.
fixed. Sieges are a weird thing that they just don't put resources into. And I do not understand why. Like Skaven only have one map. You still have the gate bug. And that gate bug I can kind of understand because it's a tricky one. I also believe it's like 3 different bugs that will like go under the umbrella term like
For
gate bug.
anyone that doesn't know the gate bug, can you just elaborate?
Yeah, so the gate bug is essentially when you're trying to hammer on the gates and it opens up and then someone gets let in and then, or it's just open and they're fighting and they can't like go in because the gate is open, they can't hit it, and a bunch of different things. Usually it is because the enemy goes slightly towards the gates and opens it up and lets in somebody, for example, like your lord is gonna go in, like the latest Inkari campaign I did. They were banging on the gates, and then the gate opened, and only Inkari was inside roaming against like a bunch of high elf archers, and it was just a very bad time because like there was no way to save them. I was pretty awful. So things like that, for example, will happen, or like half the squad will go in there and then nobody will hit the gate anymore.
Could I toss in, you know, when you've got like a breach in the walls or the gate is open, but there are ladders. And so you right click your unit on the outside to go in. And of course, you know, they'll go through the breach, they'll go through the gate because that's the path of least resistance. But no, they want to go up the fucking ladders and drain all their vigor.
That's because only 3 units at a time can use an opening in a wall,
That's what she said.
whereas any number of units can use a ladder, which means if there's one ladder up against the wall and one breach, and you send 20 units to go like into the city, 3 of them will go through the breach. They'll start path through the breach. All of the rest of those units are going to go ladder time, boys.
You mean like 3 models of a unit? Because like if you have units, you try to get them through a gate, for example, only one of them will go through at a time.
I believe it's 3 like unit blocks. So yeah, so if you've got like 2 generals and a regiment of infantry, then those 3 can go. They'll pass through, and you can see that. You can see 3 like arrows suddenly go through the gate, and everyone else will be like, let's go up the ladder time.
Because if you only have like the gates and a ladder and you have like 2 units and you tell both of them like via shift clicking or shift dragging to go through, one of them will just change to the ladder.
I wonder if it's like either way. Basically, you think
there's a limit anyway for the entries.
I'm so sure, and I don't know whether this is the Mandela effect, but I'm convinced that was not a problem in Warhammer 1 or 2. I'm convinced that if you sent all of your units through a gate,
it 100% was. I guarantee you. Yeah. I'm fairly sure about this. I've always hated siege ladders ever since 1.
But it's certainly come to a point where I'm now like, I don't use ladders, not because I think they're gauche or anything like that. It's literally a case of it will completely fuck my pathing trying to get into the siege, and that is just one of the things. And it's just a pile of issues with sieges that make you go, I do not want to interact with these things. And I think that is like a huge problem if you go, I don't want to deal with this battle because it's a siege.
Well, like the majority of your battles in reality should be sieges, because you're almost always attacking a settlement or having your settlement attacked. And every single time you're just like, fuck, these maps fucking suck, and the AI doesn't know how to use them. This is going to be pain.
Yeah, it is a weird one where most of the battles will be sieges because that's how the campaign map is designed. And still they don't put more research into those, like how Skaven only have 1 map still. Like that one isn't even that good.
I hate that map.
Yeah, same. Just played it too many times.
It's so brown and green. Why is it so brown and green?
Yeah, it's a weird one, but we can chalk it up to sieges, and we'll have the siege replay bug in a different one, so we don't have to just blatantly put it into S. For no reason.
Well, I mean, let's lump it all together, because I realize the siege replay bug is a bug that only affects 3 people in the entire world: me, Zerkovich, and Ruinous Insight. The only 3 people who are affected by that bug are those, and I get that it's not ever going to be a high priority. I'm enraged by the idea that Creative Assembly introduced that bug and then didn't bother to fix it, which just feels insane to me. Except when you look at their history.
Would you like to elaborate on what the siege replay bug is?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Frederick. So, so basically, if you have a walled settlement, the walled settlement will have a wall level, basically, which is basically how strong the walls and towers and gates are. So if it's level 0, then the towers will be shooting like the little arrowy things. And if you upgrade that on the campaign map, then it'll shoot something different depending on what it is. So for example, I think the vampires shoot like cages with bats in them for some reason, because why not? And the Bretonnians shoot cows and all that kind of good stuff. So if you then save that siege as a replay and watch the replay, if the wall level is 0, that replay's fine. Not a problem. However, if the battle has an upgraded tower and wall, then the replay will be fucked, because the replay does not save the level of the wall. So therefore, if in the battle you're fighting a vampire castle and it's shooting cages with bats at you, on the replay of that battle, it will only be shooting arrows instead, because the towers have not for some reason carried through to the replay, which means the replay instantly desyncs, which then means
credit monsters. You know, it's not like you can set the level of the towers manually in custom. But oh wait, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. And so what that means is that basically any battle that I want to save a replay of, any siege battle I want to save a replay of, is broken if that wall level is higher than 0. And when a battle desyncs, it means that your units will try and fulfill the orders that they were given, but the AI units just do whatever the fuck they like, which obviously then means the battle is nowhere near what the actual battle turns. So the replay is completely useless at that point, which is exasperating when all of your battles are just the replay recorded, which makes me angry. Also, it means basically I just try and not fight sieges. I just try and go out of my way to not fight sieges unless I absolutely have to. And I've become very good at it. I tend to only have to fight like maybe 1 or 2 sieges during a campaign, because I've become good at avoiding them. I've become good at avoiding an entire section of the game because Creative Assembly broke it.
Right. Now, before Monsters has an aneurysm, we're going to go further into... Well, should we rank the replay bug that they just can't fix the replay bugs for like several years?
I think we lump all the siege bugs together, and it's an S tier because it's a large chunk of the game, and it's just so messy. It's just such a messy experience that it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, there's so many things wrong with sieges that it's like, honestly, tell you the things about sieges that you think work well.
I'm going to be honest. Cool. I mean, like sieges, I think are better than in Warhammer 2, because in Warhammer 2 they were I think they were like too small, too fast, and too simple, and there were too many ways to just absolutely dumpster them. I'm
going to disagree with you there. I think the sieges in Warhammer 1 and 2 are way better than 3, and I think the reason is 3, the maps are so big, it's just unworkable. I hate fighting defensive sieges because the AI is like, I'm going to spread myself over the entire map, which means you then end up just trying to deal with everything everywhere, and I don't find that enjoyable. Maybe it's just because I'm old. I don't know.
I'm also going to say they're not good right now, but they are better. Because I genuinely thought the sieges in Warhammer 2 were bad. Like, for example, if you had mortars, there was no way you were going to lose. If you had like any simple artillery. Now you have artillery, it's going to be a little bit tougher for you. You're probably still going to win, but it's still better. Like, there are some maps that are genuinely like, oh, this is actually a good idea for a map. Like the Bretonnian one, where you can like defend up on the hill. Like, that's genuinely a good map. Like, well executed, where you can hold on. Like with very little, and that's cool as heck, but that's like the only map I can really think of that is good.
I would say I would disagree, but I do like the minor settlement battles. In fact, I'll go as far as to say I think the walled settlements are probably worse than the minor settlements.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. All right,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
put
going to
all
ask
of the-
for what specific parts you disagreed with. Just assume it's all of us.
I just think the maps are too. I remember there's that Empire map which has like a river in it in the middle, which does look cool. I grant you. There's like 3 bridges across the river, and I do think that looks cool. But it also then snakes all the way around to the other side of the map, to which point you're like, I have never been to the far end of that map. It's worthless.
Well, there's-
You could cut
Okay,
that map
so-
in half.
There's that
Okay,
cafe
so-
one that's like got the thing at the back, and it's like, I've never been there.
So counterpoints. The one that's like the Empire map you're talking about, that one actually ends up in a square with only one entrance with 2 towers. You can literally just stand right there and just have like the biggest choke points of your life, basically. It is like amazing to hold out like your last stand as. The cafe one is one of those like multiplayer, like one where you just have so many choke points that you have no choke points.
Yeah.
So like I said, there's very few actually good ones. I think they're better because I played those siege maps in Warhammer 1 and 2 for so many years. Because those were like 7 years or something. No, wait. Well, yeah, something like that, right? So I'm thoroughly sick of them. I think anything with mortars just absolutely trivializes those sieges at all because they're so small. Like there's no counterplay to them at all.
I think the problem is that walls are almost worthless, and yet CA seem to want to make the walls worthwhile and for you to build siege equipment. And people complain that they have you have the arse ladders where people just scale the wall instantly.
Anyway. Yeah.
And I think the big problem is those walls are they are pretty worthless because you can just like climb over them. As soon as your unit reaches the wall, they can climb over them. And so there's barely any point for building siege equipment. Basically, I think the big problem with sieges is they weren't quite sure how they wanted to tackle them, and they kind of like tried to change what they were doing in Warhammer 3, and it's just sort of ended up in a big pile of mess. And now they've just been like, we're just going to close the door on that one because nobody ain't got time for that. Let's try fixing it in the next Total War game. Basically, I think is what they're trying to do, and I just don't think sieges are ever going to be fixed.
No, I think that honestly, I don't really know how I would fix sieges to be actually good. Like, I can probably make a checklist, but like putting that checklist together into a cohesive product, I can't even imagine how hard it is. Because like, if you think of a normal siege in like medieval or Wars of Britannia, that one, the one that was good. Like, you just have your archers, you have your horses, you have your infantry. That's it. Here you've got flying things, you've got monsters, you've got all this other bullshit that like complicates things. It's like, well, if we just have walls, then flying things can just go straight over the walls. So maybe we should have these towers that are in the back. But then if we have the towers in the back, then we have these control, and it just overcomplicates everything. So like, it is hard to make sieges work for this sort of thing, but yeah, they're just not good.
Okay, so I actually have a checklist for how to fix those because I've been thinking about this a lot. So basically, like towers need to be just do twice as much damage. No ladders. You will have indestructible barricades that you can put in like 3 of them every map, and just one like point where you can grab that actually matters. So you can always like hold out somewhere because it's a siege. It's not like capture the king of the hill or some shit like that. Like literally, if you want to get the people out of there, you're gonna kill them.
Spooky.
Yep, I think that would help. To be honest, I think you're right. I think adding in like the capture points probably not great. Yeah, there's just so many problems with it that it's an obvious S tier because it's such a large chunk of the game that I genuinely think is currently unworkable.
And the next issue then that we have written down is there's like the challenge dissipates so fast in this game. Like mid-game, you're kind of like after turn 50, there's not a lot of stuff that's really challenging you. And that is a problem. It might be because of the AI recruitment bugs. It might be because, other balancing issues. But the balancing definitely needs to change. And maybe they need like a mid-game crisis thing like Stellaris has, because I really enjoy those things. But the crises are really weird in this one because once again, all they do is just spawn a buttload of armies and then you just go like, yeah, deal with that then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when we had Sean on, I did say like it would be cool for like Chaos to become the Crisis like in Stellaris. And like if you're just playing as like Carl, and then it's like, right, it's end times, bitch. And like all of the Chaos is like united by Archeon or whoever, and then it just starts rolling like a wave with shitloads of armies and taking settlements and like putting heavy penalties on like your entire, like just the entire world. That'd be so much more interesting and exciting, but instead it's just like, I've come to kill you, and then you kill his one army. He's like, you have bested me. Goodbye forever, Carl.
So I think that crises and the sort of like the difficulty, the crises and the difficulty are kind of two separate things. I think they are adjacent, but I think the crises, I think the problem with them is, you're right, they do just spawn a shit ton of armies. And no one who plays Total War, you know what, I'm not going to say no, anyone. Most people, I would say 95% of people who play Total War probably don't want to fight the same battle 100 times, which is kind of a problem. Where if you look at the Stellaris crises, it's not really a problem if you fight 50 battles, because they're all going to be, fairly automated and they just kind of happen and you can sort of like watch them. Whereas
it's more the grand scale of like keeping everything back. Yeah.
So realistically, you kind of can't do the same thing in Total War, because I have fought like the Greenskin crisis before, where the victory condition for that is to literally exterminate every single Greenskin on the map, which is a chore. I mean, it's certainly doable, but considering they get like recruitment bonuses, it is a bit, if you manage to track them down to their last settlement and they've recruited 4 stacks in the meantime, you're kind of like, oh, Christ's sake, I don't want to do this again. And so I don't know what the solution to that problem is. The fact that the crises, I don't think, work the same way, but I think you can make them work. It's just that you would need to have them more narratively driven. Like, you could have like that wave of chaos coming at you, but the victory condition would need to be something where you could fight like a few specific battles that give you that experience of like fighting off a horde without you actually having to fight 100 battles that are literally just a horde of Chaos Chosen and Hell Cannons at the same time.
Yeah. Like, one of you two probably can describe this a bit more, but like towards the end of 3K, doesn't it become the 3K? Like the 3 kingdoms, just like fucking mega war, bitch. Wouldn't that be like a bit more interesting? So like maybe Carl, if you're playing as Carl, it's like, all right, you become Carl Order-Tide, and you can like command all the forces of order, and then Archeon can do the same for Chaos, and the Skaven can do whatever the fuck they're doing.
I genuinely think that is the best end game crisis in any Total War game ever, because it's such a cool thing where you have like basically 2/3 of the map against you, and it's like, oh shit, but then you fight them, and the AI in 3 Kingdoms are like, when their armies are wiped out, they're like, hey, you relax, buddy. Maybe a little bit of peace, eh? And then all of a sudden, like, you just have 1/3 of the map. Then maybe you manage to fight into the seat of power, and they're like, well, I guess we're not a kingdom anymore, and they just kind of just fold, or you take them over or something like that. It's like one of the first campaigns I ever did managed to vassalize the first one, because they were like, okay, you're the king, we're just going to be like, you're the emperor, man, and we just surrender. And like, okay. And then the next one also did that after just a little bit, because you just had 2/3 of the map. Like, what are they going to do? And it was just like weird seeing the AI being competent, because obviously if you have 2/3 of the map, what are you going to do? Like, just go and bully this last person? But the AI was like, okay, you know what? I lost fair and square. I thought that was just amazing.
I think something like the chaos, like if you had a chaos crisis where you had like, it did spawn a load of chaos armies, but they were all very slow moving. So you kind of ended up with this like impenetrable wall of chaos armies like heading south, but you could easily outmaneuver them. If you had that, right, and at a certain point, like for example, they've taken Middenheim or something, and then Archeon's army appears at Middenheim, and the objective is kill Archeon, right? You need to stop whatever he's doing. And at that point, you have then, depending on who you're playing, say you're playing as Carl or something, for example, at that point, like maybe an army of heroes spawns that is there under your control. They're free. There's a lot of powerful characters there, a lot of strong units, and the idea is you're going to have to try and break through the Chaos Horde to get to Archaon. And I feel like that would be like a really cool experience, particularly if you had like different, well, like you also had a green skin one that works slightly differently, and what else? Wood Elf one, where you had to, I don't know, do something with Athel Loren. But if you had these like things that could happen towards the end of the campaign that gave you that satisfying like victory, that would be quite interesting. Because you're right, the problem with Total War is it does kind of devolve into a paint the map game.
Yeah. Like my suggestion to the devs has for years now have been alliances. They need to add in alliances because the end game crisis, like you say, they could be slow moving. But what about this? What if all of the chaos actions just became one big alliance? The entire top of the map just like banded together. And the condition to like make them start fighting would just be kill Archaon, for example. And he would always be protected by some stupid shit, or he would just be like in his fortress, you know, deep in enemy territory or something. So he would actually have to fight.
Survival battle.
Well, just like fight your way up there, kill him in his fortress with everything else, and actually have to like fight that. But as soon as you do, the alliance breaks, they start infighting, basically, and everybody else can start overtaking them. The other people get a recruitment bonus, for example.
Yeah,
So
or
you
you could have it so you could make certain factions start fighting between each other or something. So you could make all the Nurgle and Slash factions start.
I do think this could be a video in itself or a podcast in itself, like how you could rework the end game of Total War. But like,
yeah,
the thing, we do a lot of comparisons to Stellaris, and in my opinion, Stellaris is more of a sandbox than Warhammer 3, but also has a lot of scripted story things. Like everything you do, you can like get on a storyline from one of the DLCs or whatever. The Galactic Community is like a scripted event that happens when a certain condition is fulfilled. Like the Crisis happens at a certain time. There's all these like little just handmade things that kind of just adjust the sandbox in a different way and shake it all up a little bit. Whereas I think Warhammer 3 relies too much on, all right, you just do what you want, and you know, hopefully the AI will provide a challenge.
Yes, agreed. And I think the current state of the Crisis is that just I've turned them off. And the thing is, it's not really a bit like, do we need crises? Not really, crisisy, not really, because they're not that vital. But they were kind of lumped in, and the idea is really good. Mm-hmm. It's just they've not gone all the way with it, which I think kind of leaves them sitting there like, that's a shame. They could have really done something with that.
Yeah, their heart's in the right place, but it's only half of it. Half-hearted.
So I would say that's more sort of like a D tier thing, because would I like to see better Crisis? Yes. But, with all the other problems, there's probably not really much appetite.
The thing isn't just Crisis in itself. It was mid to end game threats on the map. So how challenging the map is. Because I try to plug goddamn SFO. I feel like every single episode, but like they actually make it so it's fun to play till 100, till turn 100. At turn 100, you're like, I have so much more stuff to do and want to do. But in a normal campaign, it's like turn 50. You're like, is there actually anything else? Any other threats for me? Should I just like jump the biggest dude in the yard? Is that what I'm doing now?
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think Total War is a particularly difficult game. The difficulty from Total War, in my opinion, comes from the fact that you cannot win. You can win all the battles, but you can't win all the battles because the AI can outnumber you, and also they will focus on you, so you end up fighting more factions than anyone else. That's where the difficulty comes from. It's not winning the battles, it's winning all the battles and not losing your minor settlements and your economy. That's the AI will go for your economy.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a battle AI segment soon as well. Don't worry. But but I personally think the mid to late game is at the very least a B tier. Very least, because it is something that greatly like is mentioned quite a lot A lot of people would be like, "Oh, World War II was a better game." Like, no, it wasn't. Shut up. But that maybe was like a more of a challenge later on. But I think it's at very least a B tier. I would almost say A tier.
I'd say A tier because it is what I mean. I guess most people don't really complete their campaigns, but it does get, you're right, after about turn 100, and you wouldn't think 100 turns is all that very many, but by turn 100, you've basically gone, I've won this now. I could keep expanding in any direction I really wanted to. And
so just for my own sanity of the list, mid to late game motivation is A, and then the actual end game crises, are they D, or is this lumped into the same thing? It's all in A.
This is lumped into the same thing because no challenge. I kind of derailed into maybe they could do something like crises, alliances, etc. Because I'm very constructive and humble.
Wow, look at you.
the most humble person.
I had a friend once who was like, had read up about humbleness or something like that. He was like, "You should be more humble, like me. I am very humble." I was like,
Trump. Oh, I'm the most
like, what are you talking about?
I'm the most humble. They say, Donald, you're so humble. You're the best.
I hear it all the time. They come and tell me, "Wow, you're so humble. How can I be so humble?" They told me this in the elevator before. Third person today.
Right, so coming off mid to late game motivation, I feel like naturally we just have to talk about victory conditions because they're kind of semi lumped in, but I think they deserve their own spot because goddamn, they fucking suck.
Yeah,
They
this
really
one we can
do.
probably keep it brief because it is one of the most downloaded mods for the game and has been since day one almost. Well, since Immortal Empire's day one atleast, or since you know what I mean. And I mean, they always say, "Oh, we're always looking at mods to see what we can improve and things like that." Like, do you though? Do you though? Like, because that thing has been around for a long time.
I feel like the victory considering all the victory conditions mod does is go, here's a list of objectives and some nice rewards for you to get for completing them. Seems like such a basic thing they can add to the game.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously they're stronger than the vanilla stuff is, but that's just because the vanilla stuff is so goddamn boring. It's like +2 recruitment rank. Who gives a shit? Like,
the demons probably have the best one, which is they get more like 30 wins of magic a turn. So they've basically never run out of wins of magic.
And what was this? Dark Elves had like a bonus to global recruitments for like months at the start, and they don't even have global recruitments.
Yeah,
they can't even have it. It's like, all right,
Genius.
thanks.
Yeah, I shill victory conditions overhaul any opportunity I get because it fixes everything. So the issues with victory conditions, no actual like fun goals. It's just like, maybe take this settlement, beat your starting war, loot, sack / raise a million different settlements, whatever. And the reward is fucking nothing. And there's no story, there's no motivation, there's no anything. Victory conditions overhaul fixes everything. It gives you a bit of lore. It's like, oh, well, Carl is on a mission and he must push back the forces of chaos. And to do this, he must do this, and this, and fight these infections. And if you do that, then surprisingly, my voice is going. you get a boon to take on the fight versus chaos. What a crazy concept. And it's not just short, long, and domination. It's there are different victory conditions for which thing you want to focus on. So you can go and take the fight to chaos, or you can just focus on, sorting things out in the Empire at home, or you can take on the vampires. You have options, you have rewards, you have lore. It's fantastic. Just download it, always have it on. It's brilliant.
I just temporarily forgotten about Thrones of Britannia's victory conditions, because that's also like victory conditions galore, because you had like economical victory, conquest victory, and something else. I can't remember. It was 3 different ones, and both of them had 2 tiers. Sorry?
Chivalric victory, I don't know.
Something, at least 3 different ones. And then like they had 2 different like short victory and long victory on both. And then you had like, if you did all of them, you got ultimate victory. And that was just like really cool. I felt, I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna have a big economic victory, because that's worth as much as the other ones. And you just like play this the way you want to and won. Because you can say like, oh, you can play these however you want to, as long as you do this thing. To
continue to jerk off Stellaris and games like that, they just give you points. And it's like, right, so, you know, if you take a bunch of settlements, you get points. But also, if you make a lot of progress with science, you get points. If your economy's really strong, you get points. Because, like, there's no real option for something like that in Total War. Like, science isn't, like, it's not equal between people because the tech tree just doesn't work that way. It does just kind of, like, railroad you. And I know it's called Total War, but, you know, maybe nice to do some total science every now and then. Just
well, Pharaoh does have, like, a points-based system for victory, which I don't know if I'm super into. The thing about Stellaris is I never really care about winning. It's not about the winning. It's about
the friends we make along the way.
Exactly, the planets we explode along the way. But I do think for a game like Total War that you do kind of need, I like an objective. I mean, I don't need one, I guess. And it's fairly obvious they put zero effort into the victory conditions for Warhammer 3 at release, which is a real bummer because it just feels like it was such an obvious thing they could have done.
Well, here's the thing for me. Like, if you are a brand new player and you've never, you know, you're picking up Warhammer 3 for the first time, you're like, right, I'm going to play, I've got Immortal Empires, I've treated myself for some reason. Why would you do that? Just buy the game first, see if you like it. I'm treating myself, I'm going to play Carl. And you finish your starting war, and then because you haven't played the game before, you don't know that, like, oh, I'm just going to, like, kind of just hang around for a minute, wait for Vlad to turn up, and then I'm going to start fighting him. You don't really have an idea of where you are supposed to go. You don't know if you're meant to fight the Empire factions, you don't know if you're meant to be friends with them. So, like, having the victory conditions where it's like, confederate the other blah, 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 or, you know, take the fight to the vampires, or blah, 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 just, it gives a new player an idea of what to aim for. And, like, even if I start a new campaign that's like a DLC Lord, if there isn't, like, a clear victory condition, I, like, start the campaign, I'm like, well, what do I do? You just kind of have to pick something for yourself. And it just keeps coming back to, like, they want this to be a sandbox, but then it's just too sandboxy. Give me some story, give me some motivation. Why are we doing this?
I wish they used missions a bit more for that. And they've just turned them into recruit some artillery, and you get a recruitment cost off, which you just, I only complete missions by accident, to be honest.
I will also have to say that the best time I ever had in Total War games was when I was so bad that I didn't even know there were victory conditions. I would just, like, be Vikings and Attila, and I just had, like, all of Europe. I was, like, invading, you know, the desert kingdoms, and then something like it just popped up like victory. I was like, what? Like, it turned 280 or something. Just didn't even know that existed. Like, that's the best part of playing Total War. But then, at a certain point, you do get better at the game. And you start, like, looking for stuff like that, and then you need good victory conditions.
It gives you, like, a nice challenge to aim towards, and then you can be like, all right, I'm going to see how fast I can do this. You know, imagine if we had, like, Total War speed runs of, like, I got this victory condition in 33 turns. That just, like, something. It's just something, you know. It's something that the community can talk about.
This is an aside, but did you know there are Total War speedruns?
Yeah, but it's not as fun, is it, when it's just like, oh, I raised 1 million settlements. Fuck off, boring.
I was gonna go back to when we talked about Stellaris. I said the fun was the planets we explored along the way. I went to the binge on, like, these the stages of Stellaris players, and I just found, like, these videos where it's like, first, like, when you're starting out Stellaris, and it's like Star Trek stuff. It's like, oh, a new place, how wonderful. Hello, we can be friends, exchange ideas. Yes. Then it's like, just cuts to, like, when you have, like, when you're not a beginner anymore, it just cuts to, like, that Imperium march from the 40K animation. And it's like Dark Tide soundtrack where there's marches, and then you see them just standing on the bridge, just planets explode and stuff.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I don't know. I just think it would just be so nice to have some direction and something to work towards. It just makes the campaign feel a lot more pointful.
Yes, and I mean, it's something that it feels like it's fairly a straightforward thing to do for them. I mean, it would take time, but it probably wouldn't break anything.
Well, you would think not, because it's literally just like a thing in the back end that's like, oh, do this, get this.
They're like, no one can recruit anymore.
Oh, victory condition achieved. All other factions have been deleted from the game.
Yeah. But I mean, I do feel like probably the biggest thing they did this entire year so far is the items rebalance. And I really do feel like that made quite a big change to the game.
Yeah, it did.
That feels so much better now. And I feel like if you can just do that for other parts of the game, which feel undercooked, this game would be so much better, and also fix all the bugs. But
I mean, yeah, they did try to do that with the Tomb Kings and stuff like that now, but it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like a vital thing to fix, but it would be nice if they updated them. I mean, I know the mod exists, so you can just download that and install that, and basically
you really need mods for it.
No. So, I mean, I would say it's more sort of probably a C.
Yeah,
it's a nice
C or
to have.
B, I would say.
Yeah. I think when you put it up against things like, 8 factions being completely dead and a chunk of the game being effectively unworkable, it feels less important.
Okay, but I'm also going to say this, because I heard you say this before. Most people don't complete their campaigns.
Yeah.
And it's because they can't do it, or because the victory conditions are so ass, people don't do it. Right? Because the most one campaign in Warhammer 2 at the end, I think, was the Wood Elves, because the sisters came out and they reworked those, and it was like, fix these trees and then you're set. And that was like genuinely fun and genuinely good.
Yeah, no, that, you know what? That's a very fair point. I would say A tier then.
Yeah, I'm A or B tier almost, I would say. Because I mean, if it depends. Do you want people to finish campaigns? Is it important to feel accomplishment over the game that you want to do stuff?
I'll be honest, right? I did think back in Warhammer 2, I played Alariel, and I won the campaign when, back in Warhammer 2, Archaon and his little gang would spawn, and then they'd go on a rampage, and you could win the game by defeating Archaon and taking them all out. So, playing Alariel, I had sent an army to the old world. I'd sorted out Nagarond and Ulthuan, and Archaon was coming down through the mountains. He was down near Drakenhof, and Vlad had conquered the Empire, so he had all that under control. But I sent armies of high elves across through Sylvania, and I met Archaon in the mountains, and we had a big three army on 3 army ruck across a choke point that was fucking phenomenal, right? It was just absolute carnage. There was bodies everywhere. I won the campaign on that battle, and I will be honest, I was like, this was the best ending ever, because I won the campaign on that battle. And I've never had that since.
Yeah, most of the time you're just like, oh, I got my 45th settlement. I won.
Yeah,
it'll just be some random no-name settlement that you just raised.
I've resolved the 45th settlement. Job done.
Okay. We'll put in this to A tier then, because actually having a cool ass battle and feeling that that was worth it. It's really good.
But
not just like a chore.
Do not add more survival battles. Those things, they suck. They're fun ones. They fucking suck. All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah. While that may have been the best ending, I equally had the worst experience fighting a survival battle as the ogres in the Realm of Zinch. I fucking hated that. And I still, to this day, it just makes me angry thinking about that experience. So, no more survival battles.
I think they just got so scared from people shitting on Realms of Chaos that they're just scared to add any story or direction. Because that was so railroady.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about it several times about the story and campaign narrative is what we usually call it, which is what this goes into as well. Yes.
Yeah. So I think you could tie crises and sort of victory conditions, and you could tie that all together, and you could make campaigns feel good to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't
agree.
At the moment.
I mean, they're both so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, the next part is the lore of diplomancy, to talk to other AIs, where we have things like you cannot trade. If the AI has a settlement that you want, they kind of overcorrected in how you can buy stuff from them. So now you kind of have to trade a different settlement to them, and genuinely, like you kind of need like military buildings as well, because that's what the AI likes.
Yeah, you posted that picture yesterday, Damners, didn't you? About how much did you offer the AI?
I think it was like 190 million. I was like using the console. I realized that you can just force an alliance. But like if I'm offering you like, the GDP of the rest of the entire map.
I think that might have been trillions actually looking at it. But
yeah, it's because there's a cap. You can only have like, what is it, plus 15 points for money. So after a point, like after a bit, it just doesn't matter, because then the AI can't count. It's like the trolls in Discworld, where it's like you have many, plenty, and then you can have plenty, plenty, many, and things like that, because that's just, it just doesn't make sense after a while. So they're sewn out.
I get that there should probably be a cap, because otherwise you could just like print money playing like dwarves or something and just literally be like, Arkin, I'm going to give you $100 to fuck off. And like, Arkin probably wouldn't really care about that, if I'm honest. But,
well,
I don't know.
How about this then? In Three Kingdoms, there was a huge meme to like, I'll give you this wooden cow to fuck off, basically. And they would be like, all right. Well, but imagine if it could do that, like with Arcane as well. Like, I'll give you this legendary item just to like stop invading me. And be like, all right. And then like in 10 turns, it'd be like,
gotta pay the
it's Papa Archeon time again. Look at this. It's Dietrich.
Yeah, it's to be honest, the diplomacy in Total War is, let's face it, it's pretty arse.
In Warhammer 3, it's the best it's ever been in a Warhammer game, at least.
Yes, granted. Yes, that's fair. It is. Yes, it is. It is a low bar. But it's kind of this case of, and I think a lot of this stuff is like interconnected. So because diplomacy is so bad, I think that makes the campaign generally worse, because there's no way of dealing with other factions except sort of wiping them out for the most part.
Yeah.
And you're right, like things like settlement trading is insane. They massively overvalue settlements. And I don't know why that's so hard for them to fix, but I suspect it might be that there's literally no way to like split out how the AI feels about selling a settlement compared to buying it. So basically they can't say, well, you want to like buy settlements, but you don't overvalue a settlement massively if you sell one. So it's kind of this case of they can only go, the settlement is worth like 100 billion AI points, and they can't split that out to say whether in different instances whether that's the case. So they massively overvalue them because they don't want, I guess they're worried about people buying settlements off the AI for like $9 grand.
It's just ridiculous. Like you will have I've sent you a screenshot of it before of like, you've almost got a full province, and then bloody what's his face? Not Grimgor, the Slayer King, Ungrim will just come down and take one settlement. And you're like, Ungrim, like, it's of no use to you. It's a minor settlement. Just give me it, and I can get the thing. And then he just won't do it no matter what you do. And you don't want to go to war with him because Ungrim's your buddy. Ungrim's your pal. But at the same time, Ungrim's pissing you off, and you got to move him.
Yeah, it's Catherine did the same thing towards me, like the one of the minor settlements underneath Beschaffen. And I was like, Catherine, we have to like work this out. And she was like,
no.
Closing the door, basically. Like, all right, then war with Kislev it is. I don't give a shit anymore. It's just weird, man. Let me trade settlements in some better way, not just, I don't want to buy them or maybe just like do that. But right now it's just silly because both you can do, because it's silly in so many ways as well. Like you can't just buy a settlement you need. And if you have a settlement and you get like 2 military buildings, you can just vassalize whoever it is. Last time I played Khalida, instead of like fighting Thorek, I just sold him Marak with 2 of those and vassalized him, and I got like $1,000 extra from vassal taxes. It's insane.
It's weird, isn't it? That they so like you can get the Strength Run faction and they will vassalize themselves to you for a shithole in the middle of a swamp that they can't live in, and you're like, why? Why would you do that? It makes no sense.
This is literally the plot of Shrek, isn't it?
Yeah, it literally is, yeah. it's got layers like an onion. It's just so weird that the only way I found the only way of dealing with the AI is trading them settlements.
Yeah,
pretty much any other. It's worthless any other way. You seem to have no control over diplomacy for the most part, unless you can sell them a settlement.
It's also weird how the AI will sometimes just be like, okay, so we are kind of pals, and I would earn $1,000 from trade all the time. But I'm not gonna trade with you. I can't explain why. The bar right there at 200 plus. Oh no. Just kind of weird stuff most of the time.
Not to mention the way they will endlessly say, please declare war on this guy for me for $1,000. Meanwhile, you've got this like minor faction in between two of you that they hate, and you're going, could you declare war on them for like, I don't know, 50 grand? And they're just like, no, I can't do that. Not close. And every turn it's like
is the diplomacy in this game.
It really is.
It's like, can you reciprocate a little bit? Ooh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, which is probably why I very rarely open the diplomacy window.
Yeah, or just be able to trade items.
Yeah, I think trade is horrendously simple in a Warhammer 3. Like trade agreement, and that's just it. And then like you just get more money. It's like, oh, well, cool. What if I want to like trade items or anything interesting?
Yeah. Trade is kind of cool in some ways. Like like people don't really think about like how much money you earn from some stuff. Like the Bordello, for example, it's like $3,000 from the wine and stuff. Same with like if you're dwarves and you guess Karak, the place close to Karak Storm with the brewery that gives you like 100 beers with trade and like everything like that settlement alone gives you almost 3,000 as well. It's insane.
I'm not saying it's underpowered. I'm just saying it's boring.
No. It's just some people though don't think about like how much you get from it, but it is fairly simple.
And on the face of it, I would say this is probably a fairly low issue, but I do think it has larger implications in the rest of the game, because if you can't deal with factions because they literally won't give you anything, if you can't do anything to get a non-aggression pact because they just don't want one and never will and will slowly slide into declaring war on you, then you're going to have to exterminate that faction, which then leads on to things like player bias and the player having absolutely limited what's the word I'm looking for? Authority? No, like they can't do stuff because the AI is doing stuff to them. And I think it kind of like interplays into that kind of thing. So I actually think it's quite a large problem in Total War Warhammer 3. I would say like a B.
Yeah, probably B. Like it works as it is, but why can't they just fix stuff like this? I think everything just goes down into like you said. Why can't they just fix like the numbers for cities and stuff like that? I think the problem is that they just have too few people to work on anything. Like somebody will work on something, but like if it's just 6 people and they just have like 6 issues, or if they have 6 issues and like 3 of those demand like 4 people, it's gonna be like a long. The list is just going to get longer before they fix stuff.
Do you ever get the feeling that when we see those like developer interviews, like the one on Tides, that is just the dev team? It's like, oh, we've got these people from the dev team. No, this is it.
Yeah.
It's that guy with a beard, it's the lady, and it's Rich and the other guy.
It's the last person is behind the camera.
No. Rich gets up and turns it off afterwards.
It's depressing, but it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, so what are we saying? B tier?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Because like at the end of the day, it's called Total War. It's not called Total Diplomacy. So it doesn't... it would be nice for it to be better, but it does the job enough most of the time.
I mean, B tier is fine. I might like bump it up to A tier because I think in Three Kingdoms, diplomacy is one of the most fun ways and most memorable ways, because in the end, it's all about like memorable stuff. Like as... Gongsun San, I think I was playing. Cao Cao was just a bitch the entire goddamn time and just being such a nuisance in every single instance, doing schemes and everything like that. And eventually I managed to capture his wife. and then I managed to managed to vassalize him, and then I sold his wife for like wooden cows, and then I put that on Cao Cao.
Nice.
And it's like one of those like super petty things after like, you know, being harassed by somebody for like 10 hours. But then you're like, I'm going to remember this forever.
Should we do some more rapid fire ones? Because we've currently done 6 and we've been recording for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And we said,
is this going to be a two-parter?
Oh,
okay, let's just go through this one really quick then. AI battles, because this is like one of the last big ones, I think. AI in battles is weird. We have like dodging artillery fire, which basically makes it so that you fire them at them more because they just take longer to get there. It's just really weird behavior. Like they can't really use wind spells that well at all. The only thing like that people know that their fear is basically like warp lightning because you can spam it, and they don't really need to aim it. It's like middle of units, and then that's fine. Wind spells, no, not really. We also have things like, this is actually what's going to put it over to S tier, no matter what other things you have problems with. Line of sight bugs, guns, shit like that, not being able to fire. Like, they are so bad at this. Like, guns have been a problem since Warhammer 1. But they are abysmal right now. I have no idea if I'm just noticing more now or what it is. I feel like they've been worse for like way worse now with actually trying to fire anything at all with gun units. You also have, well, I guess that's like my problems though. I mean, that's
I'm with you on that one.
I think my complaints with the AI in battle, it comes down to there are shades of brilliance that shine through every so often. Like every so often I'll get flanks and I'll be like, holy shit, I actually did not see that coming.
Yeah.
They got me. And then the vast majority of the time they will charge their war beasts into my front lines straight onto the end of my halberds and give me a fleshhound kebab. It's just like,
I would also say the battle AI is fairly competent. They are good at flanking. Like flanking is something they do a lot. They do like a really long line, cavalry on the sides, and they will always go with the cavalry into your back line every single time, unless you actually like have some way to counter that.
I have a question. The Demon Prince. When you fight him, does he solo charge your front line every time?
Yeah. I mean, like Demon Prince, we can have as its own issue, honestly. Like,
I've just noticed that. Like, I feel like it's the Demon Prince and there's someone else, and I can't remember who it is.
Belacor.
It's probably Belacor actually.
Let's be honest.
They basically just like if I'm got a missile heavy army, they will just like the rest of their army is like fucking miles behind, and they're just like, nope, I'm gonna go solo, and then die. I'm just like, why? Why would you do that? I don't understand what you're thinking.
Bro, really think he has a lot more aura than he does.
So much aura. But yeah, I did actually fight a battle the other day, which was a choke point. I had 2 armies of Skaven, and the enemy was undead. So I was defending the choke point, and the enemy army came on with their reinforcements, and I thought they're going to wait for their reinforcements before they advance. Nope. They didn't. They just sat there, and I was like, a bold play. So I moved my warp lightning cannons forward and sniped Manfred and the other vampire on a dragon and a bunch of their monsters, and they still just sat there, although more reinforcements came on to replace the ones that had died, and they just kind of like ended up like quite close to me so I could kill them as well. At which point I was like, well, this is just a bit weird. So I decided to move across the choke point, at which point the AI suddenly went, aha, I've got you exactly. I was like, holy shit, has the AI played a blinder here? Has the AI decided that the only way to get me across that choke point is to act like the most brain-dead idiot possible? Maybe. It didn't work because, of course, I'd killed all their generals and monsters, so they just charged their skeletons into me and I killed them. But, you know, potentially that was no, it was just the AI being brain-dead. But still, things like that happen on choke points from time to time. I guess it's less important because I'm almost never on the defensive. I'm pretty much always on the attack.
Yeah, I mean, like that one is weird because usually in that would only happen if you are attacking at the choke points, because the AI does work that they will always charge you if you are in range. Like if you have artillery and stuff like that, they will just like straight up go for you unless they have artillery. But
Yeah,
that's
there was
that's an
obviously
old
something
thing.
not right there.
But that's an old thing because like in older Total War games, if you were attacking, they would just sit there. They would just take like a defensive position, and you could just bombard them. They would never charge at you. And then eventually they just notice like, oh shit, like these dudes are just sitting there. The players just bombarding them with their artillery, going out of the battle, attacking again, doing the same thing, just wasting all the ammo. And eventually they would do like, if they are in range, they will have to like charge. But sometimes I think I've seen that bug out as well, but it's not very often, but it has happened for sure. But this is just one of those weird battle bugs. I don't know if there's really more to say about it, honestly. More than line of sight, dodging artillery fire, and can't even use magic.
Yeah, I mean, I have noticed that the thing is the missile attack is sporadic, isn't it? Like often it'll work fine. Although I have noticed how the AI is so much more effective at shooting its units than yours. Not to mention the fact that if you leave your units on auto fire, they will sometimes pick a target they can't see and then just not shoot. And I mean, there's so many issues with range. I mean,
a lot of times with my gunfire units, they just stand there and they like clearly have dudes in front of them, and then I'll just click, and everybody just shuffles like a millimeter,
yes,
and then everybody just starts rapid firing, and you're like,
I know
what?
I know. It's so annoying when you're like, I want you to target that unit, but I don't want you to I don't want to tell you to target that unit because you'll probably then spend the next 20 seconds shuffling. By which point that thing's going to be jumping up and down in your head, and I can't really do anything about it. So I'm just going to hope that you target the right unit, I guess.
I mean, godlines are supposed to fire when they see stuff if you have them on fire at will, right? That's just a buggy, weird thing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I've noticed the AI can sometimes, like, even if their units like turning, the guys who are currently standing still can be like, yeah, I'm just going to shoot now. I'll wait for you guys to get into position later, and they'll just take pot shots, whereas your guys just won't.
Yeah, sometimes they do that, but that is incredibly sporadic. Like there's, I would put this one up in S tier. Like line of sight is something they should just fix. Honestly, like that is, if guns don't work properly, like they work. It's one of those things. Like 60% of the time, it works every time.
Yeah, I had a battle the other day where I was my entire army started off in the forest, so they couldn't find me, and it's so obvious that the AI knows where you are, but it's trying to pretend it doesn't. It just like flew some bats directly at me, and it was like, and the rest of the army was just marching very slowly. And it was like, oh, we found you.
It's so terrible at doing that, isn't it? Yeah.
It's like when you're a child in a hiding spot that like you can see their feet under the curtains and you're like, oh, where could he be?
It's literally that, isn't it? Yeah, I hate that stuff. Yeah, all that stuff is incredibly aggravating. Because in many respects, like the AI is so brain dead most of the time. But some of the I really hate it when it can make its units perform things that the player cannot. That's what I find particularly irritating. Like its ability to like go into constant charge as well sometimes, if you notice that, where like units that are technically slower than your, like if you've got skirmish cav or something and they've got doggos, and your skirmish cav is technically as fast as those doggos will be able to catch up with them because they like charge and then just don't stop charging ever. Yeah,
it's because the charge distance, like as soon as they get like in this radius, they start charging and they get the extra charge speed, the first couple of them. And then once they're in that like radius, they won't slow down, so they will always catch you.
Yeah.
But with skirmish and battle maps is it's a weird one. Skirmish doesn't really work that well in this game because the maps are so small comparatively to a lot of other Total War games.
When we were playing,
works great in Rome.
Yeah, Rome Remastered. Monsters put his units on skirmish, and I was like, I just can't catch you. They're so good. They would turn and fire. They'd like run away, then turn and fire at me. And I'm like, that is insane stratagems. Like your outriders in Warhammer, they put them on skirmish mode, they just run away and then like, there's something going on back there? Beats me. I'm not looking.
Half of them already dead because some infantry that were chasing after them have caught up with them.
Yeah, they're just going like, the trick isn't to outrun your enemy, it's outrunning the people right next to you.
Which they're also not very good at.
Yeah.
I would say this is pretty high. I would say like maybe a B.
So battle, which one? I feel like we're talking about two things. Is this all battle AI?
Yeah, all battle
This is
AI.
all battle AI issues. It's basically line of sight. It is how they don't want to. I mean, the minor things you can always like berate it into non-existent essentially, but the main things I guess is line of sight, not being able to use magic, and what was the last thing I said? Avoidance of artillery fire, which just makes them take more artillery fire essentially.
Thing is, I'm sitting here getting B, but if I was trying to fight a battle where none of my missile units would shoot, I would definitely say it's fucking S. So
I would go.
Okay, we can put
as a compromise. I would say A, because like the battles are still usable, but a lot of the time, like when you've played enough, you're not really playing the battle as you would if it was a battle. You're playing it because you know what you need to do to beat the AI, because you know how the AI works, and it is extremely predictable and extremely dumb in a lot of ways. It's like you're not really playing with like the optimum strategy. You're just kind of cheesing the AI in various ways, even if you're not trying to. Because like, well, I need to like move my units to this obscure location where they will be able to shoot.
Yeah. Let's say A then. A.
Yeah, yeah. If you say B, I say S. You say A. Yeah, it's gonna be S. A. Fine.
The great mediator. You
Peace in our time.
You had one that I think we should bring up because I feel like it's probably a pretty quick one. Auto resolve being shit for certain factions. Horrendously imbalanced it is.
Yeah. Auto resolve is just one of those things that I don't know why they don't just tweak it. It's like, what's the problem there? Like vampire counts and vampire coast and things like that are abysmal in auto resolve. It is better now than it used to be. Some people might say like they liked it better when you didn't have like who would win and stuff like that. But that's just like you didn't even understand how that works. Because the bars would be, they would say like, oh yeah, if this one is larger than the other one, you would win. But the bars actually represent casualties, like how many casualties you would take. So if the other one had more, or like if the red one was larger, it would just mean that they would take more casualties, and you would probably win. It's also why you got worse auto resolve if you put in like another army of zombies, for example, into like the battle as well, and not just have like the main army, but like 2 armies of zombies as well. Then the auto resolve would be worse, but you would still win. It just means that the AR men thought you would have more casualties. So that one was just like an absolute garbage system that you couldn't even like decipher. Like 99% of people did not understand what bars even did. Like in Warhammer 1, for example, is what that one does. But now it's just some factions just really can't auto resolve almost at all, and it's so weird.
Slaanesh has a tough time with auto resolve.
Yeah, I think auto resolve still has the basis, because this is how it used to be. That is, the AI would pool all the health and armor into 2 blocks basically, and then both of the stacks would just fire all of their ammunition. You would have like, if you had like a total of 2,000 ammo, they would just like calculate that they would just be able to fire all of it straight away. That also means that armor piercing missiles would be absolutely top of the line when it came to auto resolve. So Gelt had like the chance to be the best auto resolve faction in the game. Now it's a lot more tweaking. Now they have like auto resolve value and things like that. That's why things like Beastmen and Warriors of Chaos, stuff like that, and like the melee specific factions now in Warhammer 3 can compete in auto resolve. But some of them are still like so bad, and still, your favorite, like the best unit is still just gonna die. For example, like artillery or tier 6 and stuff like that. But it's still calculated as such with that the lower tier units, quote unquote, are supposed to die, and then the higher tier units are supposed to get the kills. And that's why, for example, you can sometimes have like executioners. Hargonet Execution will just have like 1,000 kills sometimes in some battles in Order Soul. But in normal battle, that's just like impossible.
Auto resolve is one of those things that I can only complain about so much, because I have no idea how the fuck it works and how you could make it better, because I don't really like the calculation. Is just like, how can you calculate those battles because of how unreliable they are?
I would really like is the Age of Wonder system, where you can auto resolve the fights, and if you don't like the results, go, you know what, I'll deal with that myself, actually. I do still remember the time I had Elspeth with an entire stack of steam tanks and land ships, and I was up near the Chaos Dwarves, up in the Chaos Wastes, and I auto-resolved a battle against a minor settlement and lost a land ship and 3 steam tanks against a minor settlement with no garrison in it. And still to this day, just the worst feeling hitting that auto-resolve without, because I was like, it's a stack of steam tanks. It's going to have no problem rolling over. It's literally a tank division, right? Squashing some interns, it's going to have no problem. Hit that auto-resolve button and suddenly realize that, wait, did I see a red flash there? And yes, I did. I saw 4 of them, and now I've got 4 less like tanks for some reason. The auto-resolve is just annoying a lot of the time.
Yeah. I would say probably B tier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the end of the world, but there's also battles where you go, I guess I'm going to have to fight this minor settlement battle because I just don't trust the auto-resolve to not kill half my army.
Yeah, I mean, like right now for like 70% of factions, it's basically like, I can do better than auto-resolve 99% of the time. And that's what it's for, right? Like you're still going to win. You might not lose anything, but if you're going to have to do like 3 or 4 battles in a row, you better just fight those yourself. Except for some times where it's just serendipitous and you can just, oh yeah, shit, I would never win this in a lifetime. I can just auto-resolve for a heroic victory. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Unrelated, but I was playing the crabs recently, and good lord, they are awful in auto-resolve. They are terrible. Like, I was going against Skulltaker, and fair enough, he's kind of a beast himself. But he had like 3 bloodletters and some Chaos Warriors, and it was against my full stack. And I was just like, why am I losing? Manually fight the battle and just tear him to pieces. All right, whatever.
I don't think I had any problems with the crabs, although I'm currently playing the Jade-Blooded Vampires, and their auto-resolve is absolutely terrible. Yeah, every single battle is like a crushing defeat.
Yeah, no armor, no ammo.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a nightmare situation. Yeah, it doesn't work very well for factions like that. So yeah, I would say a B tier, because it would be nice not to have to fight every single battle.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's D or F tier, but it is definitely something they need to look at, and probably will look at in the future as well whenever we get a vampire updates. Hopefully we will. All right.
Excellent code you have there, sir.
Yes, optimism. I love it.
2 seconds. I need to do something.
Oh, do something. How mysterious.
Oh, how mysterious.
He gets another outfit change. He likes to do one of those every once in a while.
It does. Let's get a nice sequin.
Every time I blow my nose, I'm just desperately hoping I don't have one of those where like the tissue just explodes and it goes everywhere. I'm like, that can't be. If it happens,
just the mucus.
If the screen goes blurred, you know that's happened, and I'm devastated.
Oh no, yeah, no, it's that sucks. I hate that. I hated when I had a cold. It was just like the more I talk, the more nasally I started. I just was like sounded like this all the time. It's just like, oh, I hate this.
I recorded a video yesterday, and oh my god, like towards the end of it, I was like, the crabs, they're really good because they have a lot of shells and they're very shellfish.
Yeah, I know that feel.
Fred's back from his 45-minute urination. Goodness me, he's been gone a while.
It was like Austin Powers, wasn't it? It was just, you could just hear it in the distance, just going.
I mean, I forgot to mute the mic. I don't know what to say. It's
he's got a powerful stream, let me tell you. He's a streamer after all.
Yes. Hey,
yeah, I drink a dangerous amount of hydration. Doctors had to check me actually, but they said like it's only thing they wrote in the report is like that's weird. So we'll see. Maybe more science is needed.
There we go.
But yeah.
Shall we talk about the anti-player bias?
Okay, so now we're entering, I would call the minor complaints, which should it maybe go into, well, could it like maybe be merged? Because I don't know if all of these need like because I don't know if all of these need like their own talking point as well.
I think we can this is kind of like a bit more of a lightning round, because anti-play bias, it's like it takes us about 10 seconds to explain what that is and explain why it sucks.
Yeah, okay. Well, it was your point, so You go for it, buddy.
So, anti-play bias, folks. If you don't know, the AI hates you. It really hates you. It wants you to die in game. Maybe a little bit more. But like essentially all it means is like if the AI is at war with you and they're at war with the moots, they will just attack you because they fucking hate you. And no matter if it's easy to kill your friend, they will go for you first and like march across enemy territory just to have a chance at punching you in the face. And that's just bad because it makes the map feel very non-dynamic.
It's also weird because a large empire might fight you while being at war with somebody else, and they will just send everything they have at you.
Yeah.
And then they'll just lose spectacularly on the other front because they don't give a shit about whatever else is killing them. They're just like frothing at the mouth, trying to strangle you while being stabbed, basically. And you're like, your hands are so cold. They're like, no blood flow. Like,
yeah, that's a very valid point. I would also say that it also removes a lot of player agency because you inevitably end up being like, I think if I had to count the number of wars I declare compared to the number of wars that are declared on me in any given campaign, I would bet that I probably declare maybe 1 or 2 wars.
Yeah.
And the vast majority are the AI declaring war on me, which means I am then dragged from pillar to post. I don't get to pick where I want to go on the map.
Yeah.
I am dragged around the map by constant war decks. Not to mention the fact because the diplomacy is so shit that the only way of stopping that is wiping that faction out, which then means I border another faction who then rub their little hands, having done nothing all campaign because they may hate their neighbor, but they haven't done anything to do, they don't declare war against them or anything. And they then go, right, well, obviously, fuck you. Now that you border me and I have to fight another war, which means I have to expand yet more. Basically, it's just kind of endless.
Yeah, you don't have any agency. It makes the game very reactive and it goes hand in hand with the shitty victory conditions. It just means that like you have no direction other than just like trying to survive. And that's not very fun, especially when it might not be all that challenging. It's just you shit stomping AI over and over again.
I mean, I have 2 points here. One is that it's not as bad anymore. In fact, they've toned it down so much they might actually go into the, like, there's no, like, big problem mid to late game. But also, I see it's kind of like, that comic where they have just a man, like, in boxers and, like, a top hat, and he's like, oh, what are you doing nowadays? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm just because he doesn't have any kids. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just following this duck today to see where that takes me. And I kind of feel like most campaigns, it's like that. You just kind of go in there like, yeah, I'm just gonna follow the war, see where that takes me. Because, like on Legendary, for example, you're not gonna be without wars for long. Usually, if I don't have any wars, I'm just gonna sit there and be like, we'll see who declares war on me. Or it's like, oh, Ungrim, why did you declare war on me? I'm Imrik, I'm your friend. And then you just check, oh, I didn't have any wars.
Yeah, I think it's genuinely, it kind of weirds me out when I realize I'm not at war with anyone.
Yeah. What do I do?
And you know what? I guess that is, at least the game is trying to keep you occupied, right? It's like you need to get, but I think it's because I never have any time to go, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Do I want to work on myself? How does it, I was playing the Jade Blooded Vampires, and they've added that new, like, they've upgraded the Koresh on the Immortal Empires Expanded, and I was like, I really want to go down there and see it. Have I been down there to see it? Ask me. Have I? Have I fuck? Do you know why? Because every fucker around Cathay has decided that I am target numero uno. Greasus, Kugath, Village, fucking the other factions over the other side had declared war on me for no particular reason. The only person that didn't was Deathmaster Snitch, and he's now dead. So
my one friend
like,
taken from me.
I was just like, I just want to go south. The game's like, no, you will go in every direction except that.
Yeah, it like, aside from just railroading the player into just being reactive, it also just makes the map feel very, like, not alive. Like, when you see, like, Archeon and Boris just like, oh, hey, buddy, how you doing? Oh, not bad. How about you? And then Archeon just fucking plows on straight to you, for example. It just makes you feel very like, I'm alone.
Yeah,
sucks.
I mean, is it a vital issue in the
No,
game? I
definitely
mean,
not.
it's certainly better than it was at the start of Warhammer 3.
I would say C or
So,
D.
yeah, I would probably say a C, to be honest. I think,
I would probably say it says D. I don't really care.
I think we've lived with it so long, we don't know how to live without it at this point.
I'd probably say D. What do you guys say?
Yeah, D. Let's go D.
Sure.
Give it the D.
Oh dear.
Okay. The next one is you wrote refuses to publicly acknowledge bugs that persist for years. This is one
This
of
is more
those
of a
like,
CA problem than a Total War problem.
yeah, I don't know. Should we include this one?
I mean, it's if you go to their forum and look at their list of tickets, it's a lot of the bugs are there, so they have publicly acknowledged them.
If we're going to approach this with these are the problems with Total War, the reviews are in the shit right now because of this exact problem. They introduced this bug in a patch and then took so long to respond to it, and then we're like, okay, we're going to fix it, and they just took like a month to say we're going to fix it. If like it was noticed on the first day and they were like, we'll roll back that, or like give you the option to roll back that patch if you want. If you don't, you can play with this, but just be aware that it does break these factions. That's fine. It's more just poor communication, which, I mean, they're getting better. Credit to them, but it's still not great.
Yeah. B.
I mean, if we really want to go into it, then in that case, we can just put it into like PR problems, like how they don't manage to like communicate well enough, which has led up to this entire thing. And then it is a real problem for a CA then, because then their reviewers are in the shitter.
Yeah, I think as a company, Crave Assembly have kind of struggled with their. I think it comes in waves though. I think they were doing quite well back in Warhammer 2. Like there felt like there was good communication, and then they lost some people, and they didn't. They just seemed to have not bothered to pick it up again, and then it kind of dropped off, and then people complained, and now they're trying again, which is nice, but. I just remember when they used to like stream all the time, and it's nice that the streaming has like started up again, which is great. But there was that long period where there was just nothing. Like if you went to the Total War Twitch channel, the last like stream was a year or so ago.
Yeah.
Whereas there was that period where they were constantly like communicating.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those really weird things where they had very little goodwill from Attila as well. Like Rome obviously like tanked this, Rome 2, when that got released, because that was a absolute abysmal like release. And then Attila was like slightly better, but still like that game is still unoptimized to all hell and back. And it was a little bit bad, but it was still like good enough. Warhammer 1 came out and it was like there were no problems with the release. It was fine. And Warhammer 2 came out and it was also... we didn't notice the problem. There were some like big problems at the start, but nobody really noticed them. So they weren't big enough. Like the problem where they had switched the difficulties for battles for the hardest and the easiest. And it was just switched. Everybody who played on the hardest was like, "Oh, this is like, I don't understand why it's so easy." And all the players trying to play on the easiest were like, "Jesus Christ, buddy, this is."
Not the only time they've screwed up a bar like that, of course.
It's been like since the start of Warhammer 3, really, hasn't it? Because like Warhammer 3 came out, it kind of went straight in the can, and then they just didn't say anything for like 6 months. Then like, Immortal Empires, we've heard you. It's like, well, fucking tell us.
Oh yeah, for Warhammer 3, yeah. Because Warhammer 2 also got like more and more goodwill as well.
Yeah.
But then after Warhammer, when Warhammer 3 came out, it was actually not just that. It was 3 Kingdoms getting canceled.
Yeah.
But then the goodwill was like blah 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 blah. And then Warhammer 3 came out, and it just like plummeted into the ground. You could see like bounce off the ground almost, and then it's trying to land. It was just so bad. But then Immortal Empires came out, got a little bit upwards. I mean, we can go the entire timeline now, I guess. Immortal Empires. Yeah, Imoramas came out. People like this. Still like a lot of issues. Still, they were happy. Then it was Chaos Dwarfs, right?
Yeah.
Which was the first? No, Chaos Dwarfs, because Immortal Empires was together with the Champions of Chaos, and then it was Chaos Dwarfs. People kind of were like, you know what? You didn't give any free DLC stuff, and it's not that good. And then Shadow Change came out and got kaboof. Throne of Decay, you could see it again. It's going really good. Omens of Destruction, kind of like it was down a little bit, but it kind of like was a baseline. Yeah, it was mid. And now we're like a year later almost, and people are just like, "What's happening? All the bugs are still there. Everything. What are you guys doing?" You know, and it's just boiled over.
Yeah, I think Thrones of Decay was good. I think we all know why, because there was a goth girlfriend in there, and I think they just need to lean into that.
More goth women in Warhammer 3. It's the campaign that we're running.
So, but you can probably see that the problems kind of started as well with Warhammer 3 bit when they just went radio silence, because everybody was like, "Oh, they're just going radio silence just to like fix this." But then.
Yeah, with Thrones, they were like, all right, more communication than Omens, or like more communication. And then they were just like, and then we don't know what we're doing with Tides. Don't talk to me. Don't ask me questions. Nope. I don't want to talk about it. Like, it's coming up on a year since the last bit of new content, and they're just like not saying much. I get that they said the post where they're like, it needs to be higher quality, and that's completely fair. But
we have seen... We have seen the tit snake multiple times, though.
Yeah, I hated that so much, because you were saying all the time, like, "Oh, Slanesh, you see, that's just tits and snakes," and then that's all they show in their showcases, like 3 times in a row. I was like,
my prophecy is complete.
But communications and stuff like that, I still really, I mean, it's probably with the game. Is it with CA? Yeah, I guess so. It is what's put them in this position. Would people be more understanding if they would just be like they would be like, "It's just me and Dennis here. We're trying so hard. I haven't seen my daughter in like 5 months.
It's the bit in always
I can't even go home.
They've got the sewing sweatshop under the bar."
Yeah.
It's like 15 devs working for 8 months to create one unusual location.
Richard
sitting there and one dude just like chain smoking. It's one CD fan.
I think their problem is that the communication is so sporadic that as soon as anyone kind of like pokes their head above the parapet, everyone's like, "Get him quick! We need information." They're just like, yeah. I just think that there just needs to be a little bit more of it. To be honest, I forget why why were we talking about this again?
Because this was one of the points for that was put onto the list. Refuse to publicly acknowledge bugs that persist for years.
Oh, there we go. Yes, that's right. Sorry, I need my medication.
Okay, yes. 8 tier is what I don't know if it's the most important bits, but yeah, it's definitely put them in the shitter. So you guys decide.
8 is fine with me.
8.
The game can still function without it, but I would much prefer it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. And then we also had blatant favoritism, and Amnesty, you can take over on that one.
So they really just like monsters and don't like me, and it really pisses me off. No, I just feel like some.
I understand why though.
Yeah,
he does send. He sends them very spicy pictures. They've shown me, and it's like, I don't know. Like, I'm impressed. I don't know what to say.
His height isn't the only thing, folks. But yes, I just feel like some factions are just so much preferred than others that when they get an update, it's like they just get so much more shit than anyone else. Like, I know Sean really likes greenskins, so Skarsnik got like a big update when Gorbad, wherever his face came out. But like, then there's other factions that just get like fucking nothing for years in free updates and stuff like I don't know. I just want vampires to get some attention, damn it.
To be fair though, like when we asked them as well, which one would they have wanted to spend more time on? It was also greenskins.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where they just don't have enough people to like cover everything, I think.
But let's look at this objectively. Thrones of Decay worked. Why did it work? Because of the goth mummy. What faction is full of goth mummies?
Dark Elf?
In some cases, both goths and mummies. The undead.
Kings.
Oh, well. That too.
So
Kings have a lot of mummies.
exactly. Exactly. So
Ooh,
what we need
excellent
is an
Halloween costume idea
undead.
just popped into my head. A goth mummy.
What we need is an undead focused DLC full of goth mummies. Or goths and mummies. Whichever combination you like.
Yeah, I mean, like they just have to release
sales.
Neferata. Neferata is just
Hey,
like, look,
true.
goth mummy handmaidens.
The original goth mummy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it just feels like some factions get a lot more love than others. Like, you know, the Empire, they get like, oh, a little kiss on the forehead and tucked into bed. And then vampires, they're just like, go to sleep.
But I
love.
genuinely, it's so weird as well because vampires must be one of the most played. Like I listen to like these comedians that I like podcasts with comedians that I never thought played video games, and they're like, "I was playing these vampires in Total War." I was like, "What?" They were like so weird. Like they must be one of the most popular. I don't understand why they don't just release stuff. It's once again one of those things where End Times is probably like a different IP, and they're just waiting to release something like this.
But I'm fairly sure that Neferata isn't End Times.
No. But like,
related?
what else? Because if you want a vampire DLC, you need the End Times units like Morghasts. Like I've talked about this so many times. Like Morghasts, for example, are so goddamn cool. What do they call Abyssal Terrors? The mounts for them. Obviously,
I think the big problem for their DLCs at the moment is the fact that all of the characters are just kind of like meh. They're like, you know, they're looking through the special characters for the Warhammer books, and they're on the last few pages of the special characters going, yeah, that one. Like the one that never had a model and no one's ever actually used in their army because why would you bother? They're picking those characters. No one cares about them. That's why the last DLC was so meh. That's why the last DLC was so meh, is because everyone was like, I don't care about any of these guys. And
I mean, Goldie
like
was like the only one people kind of knew about. Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
I've up until the actual release of the game, I thought Skull Taker was like a title. I thought it'd be like, you know, Steve the Skull Taker. But no. This guy is just called Skull Taker.
Yeah. Whenever I think back to, and I can't even remember what the DLC was called. What was the last one called? Thrones of Destruction. Omens of Disappointment. That's it. I struggle to remember who was in that one, which is bad.
I mean, here's somebody they should have had for Corn instead. The Spleen, a giant chaos corrupted ogre.
That does sound pretty cool. That does sound pretty neat, to be honest. More than Skull Taker, who's basically just a fancy bloodletter.
Yeah.
The skull cape. The Spleen, you know, like the Spleen is basically just like high on narcotics all the time, where he just rampages constantly. So he's not like much of an army leader, but he does have a little bit of a following. So, because, you know, kind of cool seeing this sleeping rage monster.
I mean, pretty much everyone in Khorne's sort of like sphere of influence is just basically a bloodthirsty maniac. So it's pretty much half of the course.
True. Right. Blatant favoritism. Why doesn't our favorites get more attention?
Exactly. Why is the vampires not the favorites? This one's just a me little complaint, so it's probably like a D.
Yeah, let's put it in D, because I still think that like vampires, vampire coasts, some of them need like more help. They should have more stuff for the Tomb Kings. They should have more stuff for like I want more units for a lot of things that would be really cool. And I don't get why we can't just use like smaller stuff.
So we're giving the goth mummies the D then.
Yes.
You know what? Let's merge this one with another one you had here. Triple Lord packs resulting in less content being released. Why don't they release smaller ones with less stuff and cooler things so they can target more things?
I just don't understand why we went to triple Lord packs. Dual Lord packs worked for so long because you had the thing and the thing instead of the thrones of whatever. It worked. I like the naming scheme. Even if you don't have them fighting each other, it's fine. You can just have 2 Lord packs and just call it the man and the other man. To me, it makes 0 sense. Like, because, you know, if you want to do a price increase, well, yeah, but it's also a work increase. Unless it was a Shadows of Change, of course.
I mean, I'm gonna be like devil's advocate here, because in the old ones you always saw that one lord got way better treatments. So now we get 2 of them that obviously got less treatments, but we get like still 2 of them that are okay. Still, I guess it's like one less good treatment per capita ratio. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to be devil's advocate. I'm piling on with that instead.
If you try and like play devil's advocate, there is just no way to defend it. It means that DLCs take longer. They're more expensive. They're more expensive to make. They're more work to make. They're harder to like find more lords to fill up spaces. If they want to do a price increase, I wouldn't have been okay with it because obviously. But if they were just like, right, the 2 lord packs are now going to go up like an extra $2 or whatever the fuck, I'd have been like, you know, it kind of sucks, but you know, inflation or whatever.
It would be really fun to see like what a different company could do at this point with the game if they would just be like, hey, you can just sell DLC, how much they would pump ass, like what they would actually do. Maybe it would be shit, or maybe they would just like surprise everybody, because I feel like they're getting complacent at some points.
Sell Total War to Paradox.
Don't. Yeah, well, it's
would you like diplomacy to be locked behind a DLC? No.
Because I remember it was so funny back like I think 3-4 years ago, where people were like, every DLC takes longer. Look at this, like to record this graph, it's gonna take 18 months for the next DLC. And after this one, it'll probably take 18 months because it takes so long for them to do anything. It's crazy how long it takes.
It's the opposite of Pacific Rim, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I have this incredible beam as well to show you. It's so funny.
Go on, Monsters. I see you chomping at the bit to say something.
So I mean, currently each they sell the DLC separately now, don't they? So each character is its own DLC, and each I do, and it's like $7.50 per character, which when you think about it, actually is look. Maybe I am in a privileged position that, you know, because I own 2 super yachts and I have my place in Marbella, obviously. But £7.50 doesn't feel like a lot to me. Like,
it's not horrendous for what you get.
No, because
especially given the modern gaming.
If I
put it in the general chat, you guys can put it into the episode later on. Because I found on the Reddit that was pretty good.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
just,
that's
sorry, go on.
It's like I'm just I don't know why they don't sell individual characters and just release the. If we at this point had 2 DLCs for each different, you know, if we had the tit snake lady and the the high elf guy, for example, and they'd release that in March and September, then at this point I think people would be like, oh yeah, great, I'll have another character at some point, thanks. You're right. I don't understand why we need 3 characters in a single DLC. I think it just puts more stress on them to make sure that.
Maybe it's because they don't have to think about balance too much. Because now we can have like 2 good guys or 2 bad guys. Because before it has to be like a versus kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying.
It's also kind of weird though, because
I don't think you'd need to keep the versus thing if you didn't want to. You could just still have it be called, you know, like the King and the Warlord don't need to fight each other. They can just go off and do their own thing. Because
I feel like putting in a new unit shouldn't be that hard comparatively to making like a campaign narrative. But right now we don't get campaign narratives either.
Yeah.
Like, because it used to be like for the Vortex, you would have like a special thing. Like Altharion had like a pretty cool campaign for Vortex. Like you had like extra bits for different supplies. You had different, you know, like different events happening, things like that. But it doesn't exist now at all.
Yeah, they got rid of the interaction with realms. Like none of the new DLC lords come into realms, which I don't know. I don't like realms, but I like that we had the option, and it's just more things that are being stripped out of the DLCs whilst the price, you know, is still increased. Which it just rubs me up the wrong way just a tiny bit. Even if I never play it, it just like, also I'm just, you know, I'm paying for half the campaigns I used to do.
Yeah, I wonder how much of it is they are desperately trying to make it worth it. Because I'm just looking at like the Changeling DLC, and it goes, it's one legendary hero, one legendary lord, one hero, 5 battle units, 3 regiments of renown, new gameplay mode. It feels like they're trying to like say, no, it is worth £7.50. Please don't be cross at us.
And then you go back to like the Grim and the Grave, and it's like,
yeah,
you guess 4 corpse carts. and Gorst.
Excuse me.
I don't think you got anything else.
And a mortis engine, actually, which is just a
corpse cart. You can call it a corpse cart. You can call it a mortis engine. The deluxe corpse cart is how I think about it. So it's just 4 corpse carts and Gorst. Oh,
yeah. So you get 5 all new battlefield unit variants.
Tithe,
which one?
8.
Exactly.
Yeah, you get 18.
Oh yeah, the tithe,
regiments of renowned.
Oh yeah, they're red and renowned. Yeah, recolored.
2 new additional lord types. Yeah, I mean, and what I mean that was for £6.99. So it's £7 for 2 legendary lords. Versus, I mean, it almost feels like they haven't really added all that. Like it feels fairly, I pretty much the same.
I mean, I mean, now you guess a vastly more amount of units. You get like an actual campaign mechanic, and things like that. Like it is. Like pound for pound, you're getting more stuff. I think that
Warhammer 2 did maybe set the bar a little bit high, because in Warhammer 2 DLC, you got quite a few units. You got 2 new campaigns that often had new bespoke mechanics. You also got reworks for those factions. Yep. So now it's like, well, if you do that 3 times, you now need an extra set of units, an extra campaign that is well thought out and has interesting mechanics, and an extra free rework that you won't see any return on outside of the DLC. It is too much work for the tiny dev team. So either, that was an excellent jump, either go back to the dual Lord packs, or just go to single Lord packs. I would not care if they did single Lord packs that came out more regularly. Can you imagine if we got a new Lord and a new rework every like 3 to 4 months, instead of, 1 DLC per fucking year?
Imagine we got 1 DLC every 4 fucking months.
Yeah, that's what I said as well with the latest quality of life update. Like you should have just had this for the DLC instead and fixed everything afterwards. Like I don't know, like these small changes is like something that makes you more burnt out on the game than like actually interested in it, because you play like a campaign where very little changes, and then you play another one where very little changes, instead of like a couple of campaigns where a lot of things are changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as someone that, when the DLCs come out, I talk about the new units, I talk about the new mechanics, and then I talk about the free reworks. And, like, the last couple of DLCs, actually, well, just the last DLC, like, all the videos were just, like, 2 minutes long, so it was like, oh, the Ogres have had, like, this, like, the Ogres got a fairly major rework, Khorne got, like, basically hardly anything changed, and, like, the new campaign was extremely easy to explain. I don't know.
At least Scarbrand got some lessons in logistics, so he doesn't have like crap stacks anymore. Now, whenever you see Scarbrand around, you're like, Jesus Christ, what is that army?
Yeah, nothing much got changed. Like Scarbrand still was like much better, but like nothing much like actually complex got changed. It was just mostly a lot of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'd just prefer them to go like just make smaller, more frequent DLCs. But given hang on. may have to remove this if it's not public knowledge. Never mind, it was not public knowledge. Whoops. So, never mind.
Not that we have much secret knowledge, of course.
No, not at all. Just that, this DLC, they're really trying to... They really want it to be good because they don't want another Shadows situation, because, like, they have only just recovered from the Shadows of Change situation. So they don't really want that at this stage of Warhammer 3, because... clearly they're getting to the bottom of the barrel of Warhammer 3 when they're bloody picking these lords that have no name.
It was mentioned in that Sega, is it the call? Is it where they like talk to their shareholders and stuff? That they were going to take control of like the QA, like Sega themselves were going to take more control over the QA system or QA process for Creative Assembly, because they basically dropped the fucking ball, which I suggest is probably why this has been delayed. This DLC has been delayed so much. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
That's just such a like the Office bit almost. It's like, why isn't the new DLC released? Why is it like 3 months delayed already? And somebody just goes like, yeah, we got a QA apartment now.
We
It's
have
like,
to
what?
show quality? What the hell?
What communist bullshit is this?
What, you mean we can't just pass it off to the content creators on the early build and they have to tell us that it's good, otherwise we'll kick them? That doesn't happen. But you know, that's basically what the QA team was for Warhammer 3. I'm not going to lie to you, Chief.
Yeah. Much like the QA team, they didn't listen to us either.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, so DLC's been... I think this is a relatively biggish problem. I'm not sure it's quite S, but I think it's like B territory at the very least.
Hey, it's just taking longer and longer. This is like literally their only product out right now. Tim Clancy has released stuff. It's like the meme I posted there. It's literally like from Interstellar when he's like behind the bookshelf trying to reach the other person, like in the past, but where him in the past is sitting there like, oh, now the Warhammer 3 is out, they're just gonna milk us with DLC. There's gonna be so many DLCs now for this game. We can have so many factions and everything like that. Just sitting there behind the bookcase, like trying to yell at him, warning him. And it's like exactly that. It's like we're sitting here like, why don't they just release more DLC? Like release Single Lord packs with small reworks. If the rework doesn't work, release another one. You do another little rework. Like keep on doing like that, baby steps if it needs to.
Yeah, I mean, I know that it's not a fair comparison across the board, but I look at Paradox, and Paradox have got their own issues.
Yeah.
But have any of their games that they're currently releasing content for gone 10 fucking months without anything done to them?
No.
No, of course not. That would be insane. And yet, I genuinely would be surprised if we get anything before December / even next year at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we're getting like as many RimWorld DLCs per year as we are getting Warhammer.
Right. It's just...
yeah.
There have been more Silent Hill games this year than Total War DLCs. Put that into perspective for you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 3 times the amount of No Man's Sky updates as well.
Yeah. Like, look at any other game, and if it like didn't
it's just big updates. They don't even charge for those.
Yeah. If you look at any other game that's like alive right now, that hasn't, like, nothing just doesn't get an update for a year unless it's stopped development.
Yeah.
And it's just craziness.
Yeah.
So yes,
and now we're getting and soon we're also going to get the next Age of Wonders DLC as well. Like it's just so many things. Like I feel like the fantasy sphere isn't that big now. You're going to get like the Here's Some Might of Magic, and then you have like Age of Wonders, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Age of Wonders are getting a fucking vampire DLC. They're getting goth mummies. God damn it.
Right, is there anything
I mean,
else?
Paradox knows what's up. They're also having Bloodlines 2, also goth mummies.
Nice.
Setting themselves up for success right there.
All right, this is it. Give the people what they want.
Like, you keep saying goth mummies, and because Fred said Tomb Kings, all I can think of is like a mummy wearing fishnets. And
That's hot.
I know. I'm like, oh, I need to sort out my Halloween costume.
I mean, my Halloween costume will just be like a bunch of mascara and then bandages across my face. Like, I'm a goth mommy.
Nice. I like it.
You're pale enough for that, Fred. You can work it.
Dude, this is the same kind of complexion that dying soldiers have in Renaissance
blend directly
paintings.
into that wall. If you had no hair, you would just blend in.
Yeah. No, I'm almost translucent. I am aware of this.
Are there any more that we want to talk about? Because I feel like we've mentioned pretty much.
You had one more, but I feel like this is battles are too fast and too speedy.
I think that just kind of goes into battle AI and battle being wonky.
Yeah. Then we just have like 2 minor things, like why is there no army painter? But that's like I don't think we should really count down in anymore, because it's just one of those weird things. Like, why haven't you done an army painter yet? Like, have an army painter for like $2 or something.
Yeah. How about we just speed around it? I would like an army painter. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it ruins the game, but I think it'd be nice. D tier.
Yeah, D tier. Yeah.
Horizontal scroll bars.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to I'm not gonna see. I have a little bit of thing here because speed run. Okay, this is like the amalgamation of all the problems with CA in a nutshell. This is literally the problem with CA. The scroll bars can be defined as like you can see all the problems in that one. You have like a scroll bar on a screen now, for example, for the listman. The only thing it does is like hide half of icon. Why even have that there? Why didn't you put enough time to just format it to the screen? If you can't format it to the screen, it just means that you didn't pay attention. You can't do that. You are the developer. You can just like push so that it actually fits into the screen. But instead, you just take the easy way out. There's a little bit of scroll bar there. It does nothing. All it does is like make the experience a little bit worse. It feels cheaper. It makes the game worse. Every single time I see it, I just feel like it is a lack of
polish,
lack of detail, polish, everything. It is just shows all the problems with CA. They put something in and they don't care about it after that. It's 70% done or even 90% done. Everything they do is just 90% done. It could have been a little bit better. Like if you just changed a little thing, it could have been better. But instead they don't do that because they don't have a QA. And now they have no QA and scroll bars. S tier.
To be honest,
I'm going to make a case for C if I'm honest.
I think turn it into a larger problem, just the lack of polish across the board.
Yeah.
And I think that is...
Yeah, it is the lack of polish. It is like the actual, like, if you could just make the lack of polish into like, just, how do you say, a representation avatar. It's the scroll bars on like the unnecessary stuff. It doesn't do anything.
It's the symptom of a larger problem, which is things like the crises, like what are they for? The fact that
no UI scaling whatsoever.
No UI scaling, scroll bars. Why the fuck were all like the laws traits when Warhammer 3 came out garbage? It's things like you just look at it and go, why didn't you take a second look at this?
Yeah.
It does feel like we get the first draft of a lot of things.
Yeah, but scroll bars are just a thing that just represents all of the lack of polish, and it's crazy how much it just drives me nuts that you can't just like take the extra 5 seconds to not have that, because there are clearly other stuff that doesn't have that. Grackle made a wonderful mod called Compact Tech Trees, and it's just you can just see the goddamn thing. Like it fits no problem at all into just one screen. No scroll bars. It's crazy. And like skill trees are still like, you can just see half of it. Like new players will just go in there and be like, oh, that's not that many skills, because they might not see the scroll bar. Like it's crazy.
Can I suggest a B, since this is all extremely annoying. However, most of it doesn't really affect the game. The game is still playable without it, but good Lord, it would be nice and it would not take much effort.
So in Warhammer 1 and 2, when I was streaming it, I would just randomly say every week, sometimes during a battle or like once a day or something, just say like, now I double click this button to overcast a spell, because people did not know that.
Yep.
I had 600 hours personally before I even knew that was a thing. Now it's in the tutorial, but it also shows that they don't show things. Now, how many people do you think won't take the last set of skills because they don't see the scroll bar?
Yeah.
And it's just mind-boggling that they would make that. Mind-boggling. I don't understand it at all. It's like talking to a mole. Like, Fred, what are you going to say?
Fred, you're not seeing it from Creative Assembly's point of view. That if they were to...
It's like explaining to a dog what the color blue is. Like, it's colorblind. It doesn't know. Like, how can they explain that to me?
If they were to shrink the text down to, so they didn't need a scroll bar, right? If they added more technologies, they'd need to go back and rejig it.
Imagine this. Imagine if you would just have a symbol and then you have to hover over to see what it does. Because right now it's like family values or something like that. And you're like, oh, what does this one do? And you just try to guess it. And it's like, yeah, family values obviously give you like what is it, like anti-corruption or something like that. It's like, okay. None of the tech trees or anything like that actually like makes any sense with naming. It's like 2 of them where you can actually guess what it even does. You don't need the text there.
Oh, you're so right. If I ever do the quiz again, that's such a good round. The tech is called this. What does it do?
Yeah. Like you would never be able to guess. Like I've done that on stream so many times to like show people like, what do you guys think this one does? But that's named this, and like blah 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 blah. It's like, no, it does like siege equipment or something. No, not siege equipment, but like it does something absolutely nonsense.
Here's another. If you were to do a quiz, you could say, here's the agent, right? Like, I don't know, the warlock engineer.
Oh yeah, what actions?
What does he do against settlements? And then people go, fuck, what does he do against settlements? Because when he steals technology, spoilers, He steals technology, but if you send him to steal technology, he says something like, "Time to blow shit up." You're like, that's not what you're doing, mate. You're stealing technology.
Right. I think that's a pretty good list that we can't see yet because I
Yeah.
haven't made it.
Yeah, S tier
Fine.
for
S tier.
scroll bars. Yeah.
Sure, why not? Lack of polish S tier, just for you. Just 'cause it'll shut you
Yeah.
up.
Nice. I used to be a salesman. Can you?
Okay, so are we gonna go to what we were playing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhat of a speedrun since we had over 2 hours in.
There's two things we've been playing. So Fred can't list his
Yes.
380 games he's been playing recently.
Shall I go first? I've got a
Go on.
heartbreaking one for you, Fred. I started RoboCop finally,
Nice.
but I've kind of
How do you
got
like it?
bored.
Oh,
I'm like 3 hours in, and I'm just like, like, does the story get more interesting? Is there anything that's like worth like talking about other than like?
are you playing the
robot
RoboCop game
capitalism
for the
has-
story?
Like, you know,
You're playing it because you're a walking tank. You just go in there.
Yeah, the shooting's
And,
fun,
like-
and the pistol is cool. However, I upgraded my pistol so much that it just doesn't shoot, which is good. I just opened a mission, it just didn't work. I was like, okay, that's cool, and I was already getting bored. But yeah, I'm so sorry.
Oh no,
Heartbreaking, I know.
disastrous. Shit, son.
You're probably going to talk about Silent Hill F because I finished now. I've talked about it once. But yesterday, I started playing a game called Islands and Trains. Folks, if you want to relax, if you want a sandbox to build a delightful island with some trains, then you should play this. I was like, I'll open this after lunch, and I just played it for like 2 hours straight. It's just so peaceful and relaxing. It just soothed my mind. I melted away all the horizontal scroll bars and other stresses of life, and I just made an island and some trains.
I might get this one because this looks like one my 6-year-old would quite like, because it sounds like it's basically like making trains.
Yeah, it's a big train
That
set.
feels like the towns and town city game.
Yeah,
that was
kinda.
also just like
It's just
relaxing.
not like quite idle, but like a cozy game. There's a sandbox. You just make the towns yourself. So like if you kind of have to like go into it prepared to like do a bit of work, but it's just so peaceful. I've got my little farming area. I'm now working on like my industry, and then I'm gonna do my town. And then like also, if you want to get really controlling about it, you can also like make sure all the trains work. So I've got dual lines going around, and then every interchange is like gargantuan because I need all the various intersections and stuff.
I see you can make them crash.
I haven't made any crash yet because I'm still building it out. I keep wanting
I
to like, just
guarantee my
write-
6-year-old will be
Yes.
like, "Can we crash these trains?"
I keep wanting to like make like all the trains go places, but I keep adding a new area, so like the rail's just permanently not finished. But it's very peaceful. Highly, if you just want to
Sounds
relax,
very chill.
highly recommend that one.
Very chill.
Just those mice too. A bit of a mix. RoboCop where you turn criminals to a fine mist. There was such a great line. I was like going to the Road Warriors or whatever they're called hideout, and the guy was like, "Oh, that's where they all hide out. There'll be hundreds of them there." And RoboCop just goes, "I have plenty of bullets." I'm like, "Oh."
Yeah, but it's like the 80s cop thing. It's just so much fun. It's like freeze right there, criminal scum, and then you just shoot them in the dick, and they're like, ah, they just eat house, and you're like, he's going in there like with the RoboCop theme, do.
I mean, I'd say it's pretty much similar to the US police system now, except obviously you'd be shooting people in inflatable T-Rex costumes, I guess.
Monsters, what have you been playing, dear?
I've been playing something we've all been playing, which is the new Stellaris DLC, which is the Shroud thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, the psychic powers are all very well and good. To be honest, that's not what I'm interested in, though. I'm just interested in how much stuff it adds to Stellaris, which is a game that I both love to a certain point and then remember why I end most. God, the war system in that game is arse. It's just so bad.
I think it's usually like okay-ish, but like that game is also one of those games that it's so good, but also have like some very, very scathing issues. Like when they redid how populations work and plan and stuff like that. It basically makes it so that as year 2300-ish, like the game is just so slow. It doesn't matter if you have it at fast or fastest or anything like that. It's still like normal speed because it just doesn't go faster. And it's so annoying. That's like literally what's keeping me from playing that game right now.
Yeah, that is a big problem. And I mean, there's certainly things in that game that are an issue. So I made a race which was the one where you can basically just continually harvest new and random traits. So you know how you have those traits like, oh, you're industrious or thingamajig. Well, imagine an origin which basically says you can have those, just all of them, but you just kind of like continually acquire them over time. Now, normally that's sort of like a Tyrannid from 40k or a Zerg from StarCraft, sort of, you know, you eat people and you get the things to give you more traits. But I found there's another way you can do it, because there's a spy action which lets you steal genetic material effectively from the gene stealers. Yeah. So I decided I was going to play a gene stealer, but not like I'm going to stick my tongue in your throat or whatever. It's more like I'm just going to rifle around in your bin and steal your used coffee cups, that kind of thing. Now, in theory and in practice, that actually worked really, really well, because it turns out that if you spec really hard into stealing stuff or doing spy actions, you can do them really, really quickly, really efficiently, and you can have like 15 envoys, so you can do 15 of them at the same time. There was a slight problem with my thinking, though, in that it is a shit ton of clicking, because you have to find the species, you have to find the empire that your agent is attached to, click the tab to get to them, click the thing you want them to do, click the button, and then click another button, and that will set them off doing the rifling around for their Starbucks used cups or whatever. Do that 15 times. At which point, the first one's finished. So you kind of have this... Now, each time you do this, it does increase your situation by 5%. And once you reach 100%, you get a new trait. And the trait is roughly random. But the problem is that, obviously, doing that is incredibly tedious. So that was the problem with that. But it worked. It certainly did work. But like the whole spy system is janky as shit, and doesn't really work very well. And it's a game that does so much cool shit, but is also wonky as hell.
I love that. Like how many wonky things you can do. One of my favorite playthroughs that I've done so many times is like the Mind Flare corporation. So you're just like Mind Flares in the future, and they're like, oh, we want to like put parasites into people. Yeah. So and then you just like have a little successful like business, and then you just have like PR tourist offices everywhere that's just like send people your way, and they're like, so you ever thought about vacation over there, becoming chattel slavery? No, you ever thought about that? Yeah, you can come over there and become chattel slavery. Yeah. Then later on you'll be ascended to Mind Flare. Yeah, possibly. I don't know. And then you're just like flooding in people into there, and like they have no rights or anything like that. They just like eventually get ascended to Mind Flares.
Yeah. So apparently the necrophage origin is kind of broken at the moment, as is slavery. So it's not just Total War that has issues. There's
it did not work in the last patch that I tried. It was absolutely horrendous. It was also the neural lathe didn't work at all either. Last time I tried it. I think it's fine now though.
I cannot wait for the patch note that's like, Stellaris, we're finally addressing the problem with slavery. That'll be
slavery works.
That'll be brilliant patch note to read.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think Stellaris is genuinely, I think it's definitely got its issues, but it's still thoroughly enjoyable.
It's one of my favorite games, 100%.
It's great. The other game I've been playing is Winnie's Hole, which is, it's currently got a demo on Next Fest, and it's kind of like a Slay the Spire kind of card type thing, but instead of cards, it's Tetris, and you're playing Winnie the Pooh, who has a bit of a, well, he's come down with something, like the Thing, and he's like growing extra tentacles and stuff, and generally consuming the 100 Acres Wood, and it is a thoroughly enjoyable little Slay the Spire like, to be honest. It's just really good. It's really polished, and I cannot wait for the full game. It's just such a good game. Love it. Love Winnie's Hole.
for you. And good for Witty.
Yes. So had I played Sonic Racing Crossroads last time?
I can't remember. I don't.
I don't think
Imagine
so.
you had Mario Kart, but you put meth into a
yes.
child. You put like candy and meth. And that's Sonic Racing Crossroads. It's just like blasting music, too much happening, and just fantastic. Spirit X Strike, which is basically Fist of Northern Star, made by like 5 people.
Young man.
Oh, am I? Okay, wait.
You got to pick your two.
If he doesn't quick, because
if you either that, you just do a speed round because I know you like to go on. God.
Okay, I'll just say Heroes of Might and Magic, the olden era demo.
I didn't know how that was. I did get sent that.
If you haven't tried it, you should. It is insane. They have that as a demo. It is literally. It feels like it's 70% of the entire game they just put out. It's like if you would have that would be the full product in early access. I would be like, yeah, this is really good actually. But then it's a free demo, and I'm like, what? I played that for like 3 days on stream or something. Like it's absolutely insane how much stuff they have in it. Like they have 3 maps, 3 modes, and like 4 factions that you can play. And like, it's crazy how much stuff you can do. Absolutely crazy. It is insane. But then I won't go into the other games, I guess.
You can have a couple more, seeing as you're quick.
Right, I'll just take. I just played Mega Bonk as well. I've been playing that a bunch. It's pretty good.
What's
Highly recommend this. Yeah, just buy it, play it. It's pretty fun. I saw it. I was like, I'm buying that, playing it. Also played a bunch of Goat Simulator with my daughter. That's more of a
Goat Simulator.
Yeah,
that is another one that I was like, I should really get that.
Dude, Goat Simulator 3 is so much better than 1. But I'm just playing it for my daughter because it's like you go around and you like do voices for the goats and she just loves it. So
it looks like one you could play on Steam Deck as well.
Yeah. Since we did that super fast, how about what are you most excited that's coming out soon? Because there's a lot of shit coming out in the minute. I'm pretty excited because maybe by the time you've even seen this, Jurassic World Evolution 3 should be coming. I mean, from the day we're recording this, it's meant to be out like in less than a week, I think. Isn't it like 21st? And it's not just because they took me to London. And, well, they didn't take me till night to get to London by myself and pay for it. But they did give me lunch, which was okay. And let me meet a dinosaur, which was pretty rad.
It was cool for you to meet a real life dinosaur.
Yeah, I imagine why they only paid for lunch out of that, because I imagine the budgets to getting a real life dinosaur was pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, it was a very cool day. I very much enjoyed that.
And you also met the man from Dino Mania, who my son was like, oh, he was there too.
Sure, yeah, I did. Well, that guy is.
Yep. So yeah, you're in the same location as that guy. He didn't get his autograph. It comes out on the 21st, apparently.
Yep. Is there anything that you guys are really excited for that's coming out imminently? Because there is a lot of stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
Right now.
Bloodlines 2. It's one of those. I love the vampire games. I grew up playing like Redemption, Bloodlines 1. And I know that Bloodlines 2 ain't gonna be like the goatee, but for me, if it's just at least average, I'm gonna be so happy because I love that game anyway.
I really hope that it hits the spot for you, because I know that you have been waiting for that one. And
I think the best hope for Bloodlines 2 is that it's not terrible.
Yeah.
The first time I asked Paradox, like, oh, hey, I see you have like some people have been playing it. Can I like, when are you releasing that for like Conquer and stuff like that? First time I asked Paradox that was 2018.
Oh my good lord.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. So as long as it's just at least average, I'm so happy.
I'm quite looking forward to Jurassic Park Evolution. I am tickled by EU5. I'm kind of like,
yes,
maybe, because I did quite enjoy EU4, but then I kind of fell off the DLC bandwagon, and it's so hard to get back on.
It's quite a novel experience getting in on a Paradox game as it just comes out, because you can kind of maybe stay, like if you tread water with your game knowledge, you can kind of keep up as the DLC is like trying to get into Hearts of Iron now. There's just too much shit.
No. But there's also the danger that EU5 comes out and everyone who's like super deep into EU4 is like, but you don't have this mechanic in it that was released in the DLC 87 or whatever it is. And
you have the City
everyone loses their shit.
Skylines / Civilization / Total War / every other game that has come out of a sequel and add all the features. Problem.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Total War is at least it escapes that problem by kind of just releasing factions, so it doesn't really release
as moment like
mechanics. Yeah, well, yeah, no, it does. But I mean, they did release that eventually. But yeah, the problem with a Paradox game sequel is, like, for example, if they were to release Solaris 2, I don't know how they would survive the mob that would inevitably descend upon them, to be honest. I think that's a huge problem for them. But yeah, I mean, the fact that I haven't kept up with it means I might just play it and be like, yeah, this is feels like, I think I got the first 2 DLCs or something. So I'll probably be absolutely fine with it.
Yeah. City Skyline 2 has 11 DLC.
Really? I still think they're missing.
It's a lot of like radio stuff. There's a couple of creator packs and Cold Wave channel, and then in the end of the month, Bridges and Ports are coming out.
City Skylines Place. Can I introduce you to YouTube Music / Spotify / literally any music streaming service?
Yeah.
It's weird they're only just coming out with Bridges and Ports, because that City Skyline 2 has been out for a while now, hasn't it? It's been like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if the
I just remember I had such a monstrous city that was the most awful place to live, because I couldn't solve my traffic problems. I just made like sky highways over the normal ones that would just blot out the sun for most residentials. Just had like highways above, like as high up as you can have them, so they're like above skyscrapers.
I just remember playing City Skylines 2 at release and like following someone. Like being like, I've built like a really good transit system. There's buses, there's subways. I know where you live and I know where you work. So you're going to use the public transport, aren't you? She walked the entire fucking way across the entire city. At which point she went to her job for like two seconds and came out again and then started walking home past the bus station and the subway.
The steps in somehow, you know.
Well, granted. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I don't think this is working right. I haven't touched City Skylines 2 since then, to be honest.
Neither have I, but I did enjoy making my monster city that was just like riddled with the early bugs as well. The profit meter was like minus 600,000 per month, and then I was just like earning 2 million anyway. So it's like, I don't know how this works. We don't know exactly how much profit I'm making, but I'm making a loss.
I just got stuck on that bug that was like, you need more low tier residential. It's like, I can't have any more. The entire map is low tier resident. No, you need more. No, I don't.
Oh yeah, because they didn't want to move into the mid and high tier ones, because landlords were like bugged or something.
Oh yeah, it was dumb as fuck.
Jesus. Yeah, I feel like I should go back to that game and try it again and see what it's like. But there's City Skylines 1, and I'm like, I could just play that instead.
Yep.
I mean, City Skyline 2 is pretty fun, because then you can just sit there and especially if you stream it, because then everybody else will be like, do you follow this person who's a real city architect? I'm like, yes, and I still do the monster sky highways. And just make it the most awful place to live in the world. It's like
I do like the idea of like setting up all the public transport to make the streets and stuff. I like that idea. The problem I find with City Skyline is that everything looks so American. I'm like, but I want to make somewhere that looks like dingy and a shithole, like a UK city.
I think mine looks cyberpunk, but without like neon. Look at this, no building codes. Sky highway.
It was built 80 years ago and needs desperate renovation and is never going to get it.
Right. That was delightful. I like that segment.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep.
Right, folks, if you have any other complaints with Warhammer 3, please leave them down below. As we said, we are the Warhammer 3 QA team. So, we'll pass things on to the big boss up top, Mr. Sonic himself. But in reality, if you do have any complaints, leave them down below. And who knows, might do a second part of this if we gather enough problems with the video game that we all talk about. And as usual, let us know what you've been playing in the comments. We're just trying to farm engagement any way that we possibly can, in all honesty.
Yeah, we do actually read all of the comments, but it's not always like stuff to read out loud on the pod. But you know what? If you're interesting, I'm gonna say whatever you said.
And if you insult us, how we look, how we sound, how we have opinions, that's fine too, because we get the engagement. So thanks, buddy.
Yeah, but also
Appreciate it.
fuck you. And do you prefer goths, mummies, or goth mummies?
Yes, goth mummies like Egyptian mummies, or goth mummies like monsters.
What do you prefer? Let us know in the comments.
That won't be confusing at all. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching, listening. Subscribe to these guys because they also make things. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.